Welcome back to the second half of I've played Spec Ops: The Line. My name is Matt Hall, and of course, over here we have these two guys.
Jordan
Who will
Hill.
say their names?
And Andrew.
Now, do it in the right order.
I'm Andrew Taylor, and next to me again is...
Jordan Hill. I always got to go last.
Yes, you do. You haven't earned second place yet.
You were not in the first episode of I've Played, so you're a little bit lower than us. And Alan Wake's American Nightmare.
Yeah, I've missed
You
more
still
than
haven't
anybody
played it.
else. Yeah, I still haven't even played it.
So until you...
I definitely told you guys to. I'll definitely end up playing it, even though I'm not going to be in the I've played that.
I think you would. It's another game that, like, similar to Spec Ops, that you can finish in just a few hours, and it's like, if you like Alan Wake, it's just Alan Wake again with more action.
A little bit better.
A little better.
Yeah.
I'll try it. Yeah.
Smooth, a little more
Maybe.
fluidity on the controls, and you can definitely see how it's bridging the gap between Alan Wake and Quantum Break in terms of, you know, combat, and just the overall like fluidity of the control, which I think they perfected in Control.
But
Anyway.
That's not what this is about.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next video.
So in the last video, we started discussing Jaeger's 2012 war game called Spec Ops: The Line. We went over the graphics, presentation, gameplay, sound, and our overall first impressions of this title. And then we covered the first half or so of the campaign. Today we're going to be picking up where we left off at Chapter 8, The Gate. So just...
Straight out the gate.
Last time around, we ended off at the end of Chapter 7, the battle, where we found out the Agent Gould had intel on an attack that was being planned by a fellow CIA agent named Riggs.
Not to be confused with Riggs and Murtaugh of Lethal Weapon fame.
I was getting
No,
confused.
and I was like, wait a minute, what? But wait, but what? And I was like, oh yeah. Eventually, I took a sticky note and I put it on my monitor and said, not Riggs and Murtaugh. Weapon fame. And every time I get confused, I just go, oh yeah. It was right next to the sticky note I have on my monitor that says, let go, let God.
Which is also next to the one that's your password.
And another one that says,
This is not your first time reading this note. If you think this is your first time reading this note, your condition has declined.
Oh. I get scared every time I read that.
you ever seen Memento?
No.
Oh. Well, imagine...
I've seen 50 First Dates.
Imagine like that concept, but as a psychological horror thriller action movie where a man is constantly searching for the killer.
Oh, but he's known the whole time.
The
Has he?
origami killer.
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
It's a great
Has
movie. Anyway, so this is where my notes start to become unintelligible, so I'm going to be reading a bit from the Spec Ops: The Line wiki. The next chapter picks up without an opening cutscene. It starts the player off in front of a building that has a sign saying Solano Melvini, which is apparently the name of the structure or complex. Apparently, the name on the building is naming the building.
Revolutionary.
But you're according to the map that you got from Gould's corpse, the gate,
Which is technically Riggs's map.
the gate is dead ahead. So you head into a desolate, sunlit room with a tree in the middle and two staircases behind or on either side of it. So, do you remember this? Like, you walk in, there's just like that big tree. It's a big green tree.
With the giraffe?
I think the giraffe is in that same region.
I think so.
I don't remember a giraffe.
It was a
I feel like there's like
not
a
real
sculpture
one.
of a giraffe.
Oh, okay. I was like,
It was a real giraffe.
you guys mix this up with Last of Us 2?
I was gonna say, no, it's the first game.
I don't know, fucking. But yeah, I was like,
First game. I haven't played the second
There's
one.
not a real giraffe in this game.
Real giraffe. You can shoot it in the neck and watch it fall.
Watch its
Takes
neck
an
go.
hour. Yeah.
So, I mean, this is where you're like getting deeper into this. So you're actually like, you know, at the city gates, and this scene, it's just like this elegant scene. These staircases. There's another one behind it that's like leading up as you're like going out into the sunlight and stuff. And there's this like big, beautiful tree. Something that I did not know is that if you turn around, that tree's dead.
Oh, this sequence, yeah. That was cool.
So like when you're walking in, it looks vibrant and full of life, and then you
But
turn around.
only if you turn around and look back at it. You have to
After.
actually stop and go back.
After you have passed by it.
Yes.
symbolic.
That's the only way you could stop and go back was if you went past
If
it.
you went past it, yeah.
It won't do it until then.
Right, that's what I said.
You can't just like
You
do
basically
it.
just repeated me.
You can't just be like looking at it when you first see it. Do it
It won't
360 and it's dead.
No,
you have to.
yeah, you spin around.
Maybe.
It just blew out the mic for sure with that laugh.
But I think that's really cool that they would put in little, like we talked about the symbolism in this game. Mm-hmm. I don't want to say like
symbology.
Easter eggs and stuff, but they would put in this very subtle symbology that you wouldn't even notice.
Yeah.
You wouldn't notice.
There's
if you're just going through, like there's a lot of shit in the game where you gotta really explore and really look at stuff. And none of the environments are that big.
No.
But it's densely packed with all sorts of imagery and that sort of like world building context that you only get through like critically looking at objects and thinking like, why is this here? What does this mean? What does this represent? It could be something like, you know, the press jackets like we talked about in the CIA headquarters and stuff. It's like the signs of people's activity and, you know, not everything in the game is always spelled out for you, but between what you're told directly, what you pick up through conversation, and the actual environmental storytelling, there's a lot there. It's just not so easy to pick up because you're so kind of like greened the whole situation when you first get there. That's why on a second playthrough, you're seeing stuff all the time where you're like, oh my fucking god, that was there?
And I think it contributes to the realism of you guys like not knowing what's going on, you know what I mean? And you also are just kind of, like you mentioned earlier, where like you don't ever really know anything outside of what your character knows.
Yeah, you're equal with them the entire time.
And that just speaks to that in the sense that it's like you are just kind of head down pushing forward through the whole game as the player and as the character.
And I would say, like, if I told Jordan this, I was like, if the internet didn't exist, or I played this before I had access to it or something, the second I beat the game, I would just reload. I'm like, oh my god, I want to play through that again.
That's what I did.
Yeah. I don't know if you've watched the videos, Jordan specifically, where it goes through a lot of those examples of how things, like the tree that's dead, actually. So many of them. And it's like, how did I miss all these? There's one in particular that's like literally physically gigantic that we'll get to that I can't believe I didn't realize it happened.
So this is the leading up to the white phosphorus scene, which is a notorious scene in this game. You see the laptop with the mortars. It's a kind of like remote controlled mortar system. And you see a bunch of soldiers, and you believe that these are the soldiers who like rounded up the refugees from the nest and kidnapped them. So you think these are
with nefarious?
Yeah, the nefarious.
You thought they were shooting and killing them.
Yes,
even though they weren't shooting and killing them,
which you didn't know.
There's that one guard right there, and I think you have Adams take him out silently.
Yeah, and he says, "Sweet dreams, bitch." He stabs him in the throat. He kicks him in the back of the leg and stabs his throat. It's very brutal.
He takes him right out.
You see this whole scene, and you see the white phosphorus. And Walker's like, all right, we got to do it. And Lugo's like, what? You can't be serious. Like, this is...
Some very serious shit.
We're becoming war criminals.
Yeah.
You can choose not to do this. You can try to engage in combat. And what will happen is, on the left side of the screen, there's this large building. And there will just be an endless stream of snipers that you cannot... I was like, I ran out of ammo. I tried so hard. I tried to just fight. I was like, I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
I think I could do it.
Yeah.
No. It's impossible.
Cannot,
They infinitely spawn.
We're going to get to why you want to avoid it, but I Googled afterwards to be like, could I have not done this?
Right.
You know what I mean? I didn't want to go back and backtrack. I was like, I made the decision. I have to go forward. But could I have not done this? And the consensus is, no, you gotta.
Yeah.
This is one of the only moments where it actually, the game forces your hand.
You know, and I think I saw some people were like frustrated that that's like not a place you were given a choice. You got to tell a story, folks. And you got to give it a little bit of leniency.
Let's talk more about this because I got more I want to say.
Well,
all right.
You know, do you remember the collateral murder video? I think we talked about it on Crashport even, like the big WikiLeaks thing where they put out this like the video of American soldiers just like in the helicopter like shooting at civilians and press.
Oh yeah.
And there's like that footage. It's like the grayscale on the monitor, and it shows like when you're in these situations, like how removed you are from what you're
they're just
doing.
they're little vaguely people-shaped white dots.
On a
You know what I
screen.
mean? On a screen
Yeah.
in front of you.
And it's like very low
Res.
fidelity. It's very low res. It's very fuzzy. So you go into a scene like that where, you're looking at the laptop showing the overhead view of the battle, and you're dropping white phosphorus munitions on different areas of this large open field area.
It's
Kinda where
almost
they have
like
like
a-
an encampment.
Yeah, like I'd call it it'd be like a campus for somewhere. Like if you went to like the Google campus, you know what I mean? There'd be this big courtyard, you know what I mean, leading into a building or whatever.
And they're set up. They have they have like jeeps, tanks, and like little like tents and shit.
Yeah, and this is the 33rd for sure. You believe it's Conrad's 33rd.
Yeah. So
Oh.
as you're doing this, you can see your reflection in the laptop screen.
Yeah.
Which like I didn't really pick up on what it was at first. I was like, am I like seeing like it's just like
A ghost.
yeah, it's like oh no, it's literally my fucking face.
Yeah.
Like with flashes of light, yeah, you can see Walker there.
And I need you to know, I feel extra bad because I couldn't really tell the rate at which you were firing the mortars.
Yeah.
So I was just hammering the fucking fire button. I was just hammering it like burn, burn,
yeah.
burn, burn, burn.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
So eventually they're like, it's over. It's done. Clear out everyone. You go down, you're walking through, people are dying, soldiers are like,
There's no way there was enough time to safely cross through.
well, they even say like they're like he's like,
don't
shut
breathe.
up, and he's not telling you to shut up. He means like stop talking because the
This
smoke
is
is
toxic.
It's toxic, yeah.
And it's like no, it's not safe.
Yeah,
but they're going through
They
anyway.
really
Yeah.
shouldn't have done that.
And there's a moment when you're dropping it where like you see what you assume is all the soldiers, like a large cluster of soldiers either coming in as backup or trying to escape, you know what I mean, and run away. So like you focus a bunch of fire on this big cluster of people.
I think there's also like an active tank there, or I mean, like a
yeah, there's like
Right to the left of it, yeah.
yeah, there's like some
might-
sort of war vehicle.
yeah, with like a turret on it.
Yeah.
So as you're going through, like you see a soldier, his face is basically burned off, and he says, "Why?" And Walker says, "You brought this upon yourself." And he goes, "But we were helping." And then you turn the corner and you see that large group that you thought was a bunch of soldiers is all civilians. They were all rescued from the nest. They were trying to evacuate them out of the battlefield area, and
They are fucking all dead.
they're all dead.
There's
And you, yeah.
There's a centerpiece that it focuses in on where it cuts to it, and it's like a woman on her knees holding her daughter, covering her daughter's face with her hand, but half of the woman's face is gone.
Just
her
eviscerated.
daughter's face is gone, and like her
Yeah.
hand is
Her
just
eyeball
like
is missing.
Yeah, it's just like it's just like bone over the daughter's eyes.
look
You know what I
like-
mean? It's like
Feral. They look like feral ghouls from Fallout. They look horrible.
and it's like this is a moment where one of the moments Matt mentions where Walker absolutely dissociates.
Yeah.
And you can hear Lugo and Adams arguing behind you. You're going into like shell shock.
Yeah.
Like your ears
He's
are
gone.
ringing.
Yeah.
You're just staring at them.
You guys see the sweat on him?
Yeah.
He was sweating like crazy.
You can hear Lugo and Adams behind. Lugo's like, he's turned us into killers. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? How can you do this? Adams is like, we didn't have a choice. You know what I mean? You know,
didn't
blah, blah,
know,
blah.
we didn't know.
We didn't know. And I theorize this is the moment Walker breaks.
entirely.
Entirely.
Yeah. Well, even based on
I theorize
the
that this
story
is the
go from
moment
here.
where he becomes disconnected from reality. I believe this is the exact moment.
There is evidence to suggest that it's much earlier, but I do agree with you at the same time.
I think he hit a point of no return here.
Yeah.
I would say he was never all there, by my
Agreed.
estimation.
Agreed.
I think he entered the situation with extreme PTSD and didn't realize how loose of a grip he had, and this is where he becomes
I think this
punished
is.
Walker.
I think this is. Yeah. I think this is where. But I think like there was still a little bit of tethering him. You know what I mean? And I think this is when the tether breaks.
Yes. But the tether was frayed when he got there. I would
Yeah.
say.
It was not. It's not like it was like a fucking cable. You know, the metal cable wrapped. It was like a.
So, I mean, Lugo and Adams are freaking out, and Walker's like, we gotta go. We're just going. And they're like, what? And he's like,
Gotta go.
Yeah, what do you...
But he says, like, we got to make him pay for what he did.
Yeah, he does.
They're like,
he does.
What? They're just like, huh?
Right, and it says here that he goes, oh, like, that's why Gould stormed the place. He wasn't trying to attack the gate. He was trying to rescue the innocent civilians. He furiously blames Walker for this. I'm talking about Lugo. And Adams tells him to stop, that we have to continue to fight. Lugo says Walker has turned them into killers. So that cutscene ends, and you're going, through the trench, past the wreckage. Soldiers show up, go, there they are, the murderers, and they fire on you. You push back, you kill a bunch of waves of soldiers. The soldiers are then backed into a corner, a base in the lobby of one of the two towers that flank the gate. So there's these like two giant towers there at the gate. They're like these big like glass skyscrapers.
Yeah.
As you battle forward, you're fighting waves of soldiers, and Walker's like, get ready, we don't know what's going to be out there as we get deeper into this. And Lugo's like, can't be any worse than what we just left out there.
Yeah.
And Adams is like, hey, man, cool it. And Walker's like, it's like, no, he's right. What happened was horrible, but our hand was forced, and I know by who.
Yeah.
And it's like, like, who are you talking about, man? Like,
Yeah.
this is where it's like very clear that he's like, I figured it all out.
Yeah, he has the moment.
So you kick a door open, and that's the end of Chapter 8, which leads us to Chapter 9. Chapter 9 is The Road. You're walking down the road. You're going down the road feeling bad.
I walk a lonely road.
And that song is like, it I'm going to get emotional. Let's just move on. It just really speaks to me.
It really, like, nothing's ever cut to my core quite like that.
Deeper
Nobody's
than
ever
that.
understood me more than Billy Joe Armstrong.
I just don't think
Green
I've
Day
ever
singer.
been understood. I've always felt alone in this world. You know?
It's nice to know you're not alone.
So two men are hanging. One stole water. The other is a soldier who was sent to go after him.
At this time, it's also good to mention Conrad's directly communicating with you.
Yeah.
Right.
I believe at this point you're on the walkie with him, and you're like,
actually communicating.
Yeah, and you're like, I thought I knew him, and he's like, you thought you knew me?
Yeah.
He's like, I've saved. He's like, you know how many lives I've fucking saved,
Yeah, he's like,
He
oh,
doesn't-
you think I saved your life?
and that makes me a great man. He's like, you have no
Taken
idea.
like 3 times as many. Or
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, essentially what the situation is, that soldier was sent to apprehend the man, the water thief. In the process, he shot up the man's entire family.
Murdered all of them.
Blast.
Which is like, so both these men are on trial here. And they're both hanging on like a,
Like an overpass.
where you sit at the highway signs.
Yeah.
And like, he's like, it's your choice. It's like, this is Dubai justice. Which
Yeah.
one of them is gonna...
And you see Walker like walks up to them, and I don't even think I think he explains the two scenarios to him, and then Walker's like, I understand.
Yeah.
We have to make a choice. He's forcing he's forcing us to choose. And they're like, what are you talking about?
like literally what?
They're like, what do you mean? Fucking A, man.
So who did you shoot? The soldier or the thief?
I want Andrew to answer first. I want both of you to answer first.
At the same time,
No, just before me. I want to answer
I
last.
shot the soldier.
I also shot the shoulder, but I did not shoot the deputy.
You both shot the soldier?
Well, Andrew shot the shoulder of the soldier.
I got him.
I didn't
shot him
shoot
right in the
either
leg.
of them.
Huh?
I crossed under the underpass, turned to the right, and just opened fire on the snipers that were aiming at me. And then,
Oh, right, because that's the other part of the situation is that there's snipers aimed on you, so if you don't...
yeah, Conrad suggests, he's like, you don't want to be insubordinate. You're not an insubordinate, are you, Walker?
Right.
And then,
I think did he imply that he'd blast both of the guys and start firing in you?
I don't think he implies that, but he's basically like, you have to make this decision.
I think he implies he's going to blast you.
Yeah.
I don't think he implies anything about the two men hanging,
All right.
per se.
But then effectively, I had the 417, so I like opened fire on one of the snipers. He goes, oh, didn't take you for the insubordinate type. And yeah, they open fire on you and they shoot both of them. You know what I mean? They kill both of the people. But I was kind of like,
damn.
you're not going to make me make this. I was like, you're not going to make me make this decision.
not even
You know,
involved.
Yeah.
what happened for me when I shot the soldier?
What?
When I went forward,
Did you turn around?
no. My mission objective said, like, objective complete, and the objective was obey.
Yeah, I saw that too.
I was like, oh, that's weird. That's hinting at something.
Alarming.
Yeah, I didn't. I opened fire on the other soldiers and they started attacking me. And then...
So I don't think that you fight those snipers then
So there's a part right after this where you get ambushed. If you don't attack those snipers, you'll be ambushed in a moment.
Right.
Okay.
But if you attack the snipers, it's just kind of a constant fight forward.
Okay. So this ambush, it's intense. It's a pretty intense battle. As almost every battle in this game is memorable. Like I think each set piece is memorable. There's a couple ones that are a little samey.
Yeah.
But in general, it's kind of like as I was playing, I was like, damn. I remember this. I remember this. I remember this.
Even
I remember
still,
this.
there is, like,
There's scenery.
There's always like one thing that you're like, oh yeah, the glass
that sticks
ceiling.
out to you.
I think that's like good level design for a modern game. Is like just give each section a hook. It doesn't need to be like crazy.
No, just a landmark.
Yeah.
Something that's going to make you go, oh, I remember this level because this was there.
There was the yacht.
Whether it's the tree, whether it's the yacht, whether it's like the grand windows,
draft.
whether it's
So Conrad's men ambushed me, and I fought through a bit, and then a giant sandstorm hits. And this is like a near zero visibility sandstorm. It's like very nightmarish, like the color, the sky changes and everything, and you're like pressing through, and there's like guys like as close as I am to you that might not even see you.
Yeah.
And they're still fighting.
punching
You're still actively
stomping their necks.
Yeah. I was using my melee attack a lot.
I was horrified at this point because I think I died a lot recently at some point. And I was just like,
this part's hard.
Also,
oh god.
How many times, not just in this part, but in general, did you accidentally shoot fucking Lugo? And,
Oh my
never.
god.
Adam?
Really?
You
You
didn't?
guys said it happened to you a lot. I was like, that
blasted both
almost
of
never
those
happened to
guys.
me.
It definitely stopped probably by like chapter 8. I had definitely cut down on it a lot, but like in the earlier parts of the game, I was just kind of like I'd see someone and I'd shoot. Because you were getting flanked at moments and stuff like that, so I'd just see someone shoot and then they're like, hey, watch it!
And they don't have like markers over their head.
It doesn't pop up right away.
Yeah.
You have
if
to
you aim at them, it says Lugo.
Yeah, but
That's
you have
usually
to
after
you have to hold on them. If
Yeah.
you just scroll over them, it doesn't say anything. You have to like hold.
Yeah.
Fortunately, it doesn't seem like you can kill them, but they will
No.
remark.
No, you can.
You can probably
kill 'em?
down
Well,
them.
you
yeah.
can down them. I guess you can't kill
Oh,
them because
okay.
they don't die right away.
No.
The lady's like, watch your fucking fire!
Yeah.
And I was like, whoops. Meanwhile, I just unloaded
Hey, Fox, I'm on your side.
mag dumped Adams in the head with a fucking AK-47. He's like, watch where you're aiming, buddy.
This is like a very nightmarish scene. One of the most intense scenes in the game for me in terms of just like the gameplay, and like the game really does do a great job, I think, at like hinting toward horror in a way that's not paranatural or anything. It's just like, to take a term from Control, it's all very grounded, but it's like, these are horrific situations that like are super fucking scary. Not just scary like, oh no, like I'm scared for my life. It's like everything is like a threat at that moment. And you're made to feel defenseless, even though you're like a
giant
well-armed
guy with
giant
guns.
soldier with like a lot of experience.
Who so far is winning. Maybe, you know what I mean?
You're right,
you make whatever argument you want about like what he's doing, but like he's not dead yet, and everybody else
No,
is
he's
not.
still alive.
Everybody else he's come across is.
Yeah.
So
and the logistics of like you've fought battles against like 20 guys
Yeah.
who are as geared up as you and against
Or
3.
more geared up.
Yeah.
Basically eventually you get to a I don't know what this structure is. It's like it looks like an oil tanker with like a vault door on it.
It's a bionicle tube.
You get in.
I
I don't know what this fucking thing is. You get into like a big structure that protects you from the sandstorm.
Yeah,
and when
I
you get
don't
in
know
there,
if it's
all
like
red light.
Yeah.
a water silo or something,
Yeah.
or if it's like an impromptu shelter. You know what I mean?
But it even has like a big gate that they like managed to kind of close to keep them safe in there.
So
looks like a bulkhead door.
Yeah. Vault 107, real quick.
So an interesting thing I want to mention here that I did catch the first time, but I was like, what? And then on the second playthrough and reading more, as you enter this area where you're getting to the road, you're at the top of a building, you rappel down it to get to the road.
Yes.
When you rappel, it's one of those like glass, like skyscraper type buildings with all the glass windows. In the reflection, where you would normally, to your side, you'd see Lugo rappelling down next to you. There's a reflection of just a hanging corpse, like as like a mirage in the window.
On your left-hand side.
Yeah.
I noticed that as
Before
well,
it
yeah.
broken. I didn't see it when I played.
And like one of the producers on the game, like lead writer Walt Williams said, like, spoiler alert, Lugo hangs in this game, and that is supposed to be a direct
hanging.
allusion.
You know what I mean?
He's a
hanger. He's a chill dude.
It's supposed to be foreshadowing that he's going to get. That's
okay.
his death.
Yeah.
Like you're seeing it ahead of time. Basically, it's like
as if you've lived it before.
there's so much subtle shit like that in this game that's like, it's like, wait, what is that telling me? It's like the clues are all there. You just have to kind of.
Yeah, like I didn't
Trust
get what
them.
that was about. I borderline thought it was maybe an actual reflection of a hanging body in the background. You know what I
Right,
mean?
but
Like,
then
behind me.
that's what I thought, and then I looked around, and I was like, "There's that body's not
yeah, that's
here."
fair. I did not investigate further.
It's just while we're on hanging bodies, there's something I think they said that when you first get when you see the I think on the road that when you see the highway with all the hanging bodies on the
From like the light
street
posts
lights,
and stuff. Yeah.
you can't see those until you get closer because they may or may not be actually there.
So, you're in this like. I'm gonna see if the wiki even says what it is. You enter a small, round metal shelter of sorts.
Wow.
No idea what this fucking structure is.
No.
But
It's, just some big old tube.
Maybe like a train car.
hey, it could be fucking anything. But it has like a vault door.
it has a
on
big
it.
ass
Part
vault
doesn't
door that
make
they
sense
like.
to me.
Yeah.
You would spin to.
Maybe it's Fallout Vault. I don't know, but it probably actually is. It's probably like Vault from Fallout that got in there somehow. Like the game data got mixed up during production.
Yeah,
Oh, for sure. That's
dropped it.
100% what it was.
They plugged in the wrong USB.
That's happened to me sometimes. I put folders, like a file in the wrong folder.
imports it.
Trying to
directly.
send my mom recipes. I end up sending her a Black Eyed Peas album. You know?
No, not again.
Like I thought I was gonna get a recipe to make some great black eyed peas, and oh boy, that song they say the R word a lot.
Oh no.
I love it.
It's my new ringtone.
So when you're in this structure of some sort, is when Walker radios Conrad. He goes, "I know you're listening, Colonel. So hear this: this war is over. Dubai will be evacuated, and you will be relieved of your command." And so basically, now going from a reconnaissance mission to a rescue mission to a fucking assault on Conrad, who you
Yeah.
believe is the person who's been orchestrating all of this stuff. He's the person who's been forcing your hand to do all these terrible things.
He's the big bad. You know what I mean? He's the boogeyman.
He's orchestrated all the bullshit. Yeah.
Chapter 10, there's a warning on Chapter 10, which is called Riggs. Chapter 10 is a two-part chapter. It says on the wiki here, warning, this is a longer chapter than normal.
All the chapters are pretty short, so it didn't really, you know what I mean? There's 15
Yeah.
chapters, each one's maybe half an hour
And like
to
part
45
two,
minutes or something.
the second part of this chapter is like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Also
really
fair,
short.
it's not very long.
Good. It's one of my favorite parts in the game.
Oh, it's very cool.
So you're going through, the storm's calmed down, soldiers are gone. You encounter Riggs, and you help him fight through more 33rd.
Yeah.
And he's like an older salt and pepper sergeant kind of.
Yeah.
He's
Here-
in his 50s, I think.
I don't know
know.
for sure, but I would say
He says at one point.
probably.
He's like taking a moment to take a breath or something between fights, and like somebody scoffs at him or something. He's like, "I'd like to see you guys do this at 54."
He's old as fuck.
He's
ancient.
ancient. He's fucking he's a archaeological development.
52. He reveals that he has a plan to destroy the 33rd's water supply, which basically,
Forsakes the entire Dubai, like kills all of it.
The idea is
but
that
he
it
doesn't
would,
say that. He's going, we're just going to kill the 33rd.
well, yeah, because his idea is that like you'll effectively force them into surrender
Right.
by cutting off their water supply. But what the part that frustrated me here is because it's like you've already established that the CIA probably came in just to like keep all of this quiet
Yeah.
and shut everything down. So in my mind, I'm like, how do you, Walker, and along with like Adams, you know what I mean? Who like Adams earlier is like, oh, CIA came in.
They don't trust
Of course.
They don't trust him.
They don't, but it's like, I'm like, how do you not see this as him clearly being like, this is my ploy. If I get rid of the water here, everyone in Dubai dies.
Yeah.
No one knows what happened. You
Even,
know what I mean?
right,
Like,
and that
I was kind of like,
that is the whole idea, is basically like, if people knew what happened in Dubai, that basically like that the government, two governments really, like the U.S. government and the Dubai government, allowed everyone to be massacred by a sandstorm, it would be a big fucking deal.
yeah.
yeah.
There'd be a lot of people culpable for that.
Yeah.
So the idea for the CIA is, let's go in there, just kill everybody. No one can tell the tale.
Yeah. Effectively, at the end of the day, you can never know what happened here.
Right, and
That's so brutal.
well,
It's
it happens more than
yeah,
we
like
want
it
to
is.
ever admit.
It is for sure. Like this is the most. People call this like an anti-war war game, but what it is potentially like from. And obviously, none of us are veterans. You know what I mean? None of us have fucking served or anything. But like, I've got a pretty dark mind. I've gone down some rabbit holes on Wikipedia and stuff. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I've learned a fair amount, and this is maybe one of the most realistic depictions of war I've seen in a video game, and especially of a scenario like this where it's like
As far as like the politics.
people like to think war is this organized thing where it's like people like to think it still works like the Revolutionary War, where it's like we meet on the
Team A.
battlefield at 9.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we open fire, and whoever is left standing is the victor. But it's like, no. Everything now is you're walking through this town, someone shoots at you from inside this house. You don't know what house, you know what I mean?
Subterfuge.
And there's families here also. You're like in a city.
And then
you know?
they might be like pretending they're part of the family, and that family's just terrified.
Yeah,
trying
you
to,
don't know,
because
and-
they'll kill.
Yeah,
kill
and the
the
reality
family.
is a lot of time, like, I don't know, but it's very realistic
dirty.
in the depiction that it is
Messy.
dirty, and then there's always things like this going on. You know what I mean? In scenarios that get bungled, they just try to. It's easier for them to just kill everyone and be like it didn't happen than
Yeah.
to deal with the fallback
Yeah.
of what they did.
So there's a lot of back and forth between them because basically like they're like we don't take orders from a company man, which is slang
My-
for like a CIA
My
agent.
favorite YouTuber.
What was his intro? Company man intro. Oh
Yeah.
no! Fuck no! That's
Yeah, I was like, what are you doing? It's like a
that's-
cool like
that's the-
beat that I always like.
that's the
boom,
official
boom,
podcast.
boom.
Sorry.
Wait, it's a cool bit. You go boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, that's the bass, and you were doing the.
Oh, I remember the bass.
It's like
Yeah.
boom.
It's like Lollipop.
Boom.
I mixed it up.
So
It is like Lollipop. You're right.
Adams is like they're Walker's saying like, look, the CIA didn't start this war, and Adams is like, well, fucking, they gave guns to the locals. So
Like,
what
they-
do you think?
They
you
did
know?
kind of start the
They
war.
didn't like. They weren't an innocent party. They were at home.
They
Sitting.
pulled the classic CIA move.
Yeah, it's given.
And like, and Riggs is like,
that's
yeah,
Desert
whatever,
Storm,
buddy.
the Iraq War, the whole
Shut up.
conflict.
Riggs is basically like, you think you get how this actually works? You
Yeah.
think you don't know the realities of the situation. So shut up, boy.
Yeah, pretty much. He's like, you guys
help
are a
me
bunch
kill
of fucking
everyone.
kids.
So there
Yeah.
is the you're making your way in this chapter to the Aquatic Coliseum, where they estimate holds about 45,000 gallons of water, and calls it the heart of Dubai. And he's like, cut out the heart and the beast will die. You know, and it's like, yeah, now you're getting it.
Well, it's because you're in a desert. Dubai's in a desert at the end of
Right.
the day, so it's like any water they have is imported.
Is brought.
You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
don't. There's no water in Dubai. There's no water in Dubai
no.
that just exists there naturally.
No, and they have lakes and ponds. And
They have man-made lakes. and
those
stuff
are
like that.
scary to look at. Have you seen those? They look frightening.
Man-made
Like
lakes.
yeah, but like in Dubai in particular, they just look like they're so unnatural. Have you seen them?
I've seen some, not in
They look
Dubai in particular.
so
Or like they built the chain of
unnatural.
islands. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And stuff
But
like
they don't.
that.
There's no greenery. It looks scary to me.
Yep.
Well,
Maybe it's not, and I just think it is.
No, it is.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
dystopian.
Okay. Thank God. It's frightening.
so you're getting your way to the heart of the Coliseum, basically, into the heart of the city, and you
Living
hear
for the city.
on the radio about Zulu reporting in, and the Zulu squad is like the deadliest of the deadliest in the 33rd. These are the guys who have the P90s.
Yes.
Oh, in the armor, right? They have like
They have more armor.
they have tactical armor.
Yeah, they're faster. They're tough.
they have bigger cocks.
Sure.
Yeah, well they get augmented cocks.
It's just for
Odd
intimidation purposes. You can't actually get hard with them, but they're just like to.
just-
Yeah.
You can pull them out in front of like the opposing armies and they'll be like, oh my god, I'm so scared.
It's like a ring of ears, or a necklace of ears, I should say.
So,
Yes.
you're kind of like following after Riggs, who's trying to clear the path for you as you get to like, the core where the water's being held. This is where you get into the scene where you're like in basically like the Coliseum area.
Yeah, it's like an arena.
And the whole building's like the Coliseum, but there's the actual
Pool.
the arena portion of the Coliseum.
With like a pool at
And
the
like,
bottom.
is it a pool?
Oh,
I didn't know that. I
don't think it's a
I don't
pool,
remember.
no.
a
I thought
pool.
so. Yeah. At the bottom there's a pool, and the trucks are backed up against it, and there's a bunch of water. That's where they're pumping it all from. I thought it was a.
Oh, I don't.
I guess
don't-
I
may not have
I
been
didn't
a-
take it that way.
I'm
may
a
not have
little
been
fuzzy
a-
on that part. I'll be honest.
It didn't seem like a regular pool. It seemed like it was like water was there.
I didn't
It
understand.
seemed like a ramp
Why would there
also.
be like Coliseum seating around a pool?
I don't know. Maybe they do Olympics and shit there. Earlier, it showed that like in one of the cuts loading scenes, it has that scary ass tennis court,
Oh, the tennis court in the sky.
which is real. Yeah, that they only like filmed a commercial there, right? And like I think people can pay to play there, but like there's nothing stopping you from just falling off into the.
It's like netting around the
Yeah.
edge of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the same way that there is on like like a place like Top Golf or whatever, so that if you fall into the nets.
Yeah.
But you can go over the nets if you
Yeah.
try hard enough.
Well, anyway, you walk into this area and the floodlights hit and the music hits, and it's like this intense fucking battle where you're going through several stories of this Coliseum, fighting
Yeah.
your way, getting down to the ground floor eventually.
Yeah.
But this whole battle is so fucking cool.
It was,
It was super badass. It
badass.
reminded me of like a way better version of like a similar scene in Max Payne 3. You know the scene in Max Payne 3 where you're in the soccer stadium
Yep.
and you have to the cop is defending you with the sniper rifle
Yeah.
and there's a
It's
helicopter.
like
in
the second level.
yeah, it's like the
Yeah.
second. It's at the very beginning, and like
third.
I hated that level because it was very. I mean,
I
it
think
was,
it's the
it was
third level, yeah.
good, but it was like frustrating. The angle that people kept coming at you from, like, because it was
I had a hard
stadium
time with
seating.
this, yeah.
yeah, I hated
No,
that.
that was a
like-
frustrating level. That's where I was like, oh, I don't know if this is gonna be a good game.
That's
or
what I
not.
thought too. I was like,
This was like a much cleaner, better version of that. You know what I mean? Because it
Yeah.
was like a very similar setting.
Oh.
Combat was
It starts
vaguely
quiet,
similar,
so
but
you get to jump on them, and you can take out a couple with a.
yeah, you can take out a handful of them before they realize you're there.
Yeah.
And I think I probably took out like 4 or 5 guys.
Oh,
before.
really? I walked
Yeah.
in and then they just hit me with the lights.
Oh
Really?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I was able to.
The
No,
lights
I
go like,
remember.
you know, like the big Coliseum lighting. Ripping music the whole time, and lots of ammo boxes. So
Thank
this,
God.
this is where I think I had my the automatic shotgun.
I didn't know you could get it by then.
Yeah, I wasn't reaching.
I think
for-
I used
Oh.
the. I think I used
No,
the
I
auto
think I had the
shotgun.
P90 because I pulled it
Okay.
off the Zulus.
Fucking love
Because I
the
didn't get
P90.
the. I mean, like you definitely could have found it before, but I didn't end up using the AA-12 until like maybe
Way
13
later.
or 14.
I think
I got the
chapter six.
AA-12 off of. I know where I got it specifically.
Yeah, there's a heavy you kill who has
There's a
it.
heavy the hallucination heavy.
That's
Yeah.
right.
That's where I get it.
I was
first.
too.
Yeah, that's where I
was
got it
I was
first as
using
well.
the P90 that because I went through like Riggs opens the door so you can get to the Coliseum area.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wait a minute, I'm gonna go back for a minute, and I go back to the Zulus and they got the fucking P90s. I was like, oh fuck, I'll use
Yeah.
these. So I was loaded up with that shit, and then like I had enough
You guys
ammo
use the
caches around
laser
to-
sights always with that?
No, I kept it
Yeah.
off.
I used it. You get it's way more accurate.
Oh, okay.
Because your reticle's like it's like if your reticle goes from like this big to that big.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
I thought it was
Effectively.
just they would just advertise where my position, so I didn't fuck with it.
When you eventually get all the way through this battle, you're down to the ground floor where the trucks are, and this is chapter 10B, 10-2, stealing water. And chapter 10, part 2, picks up with Walker hanging off the side of one of the water trucks.
Yeah, and before that, like as you guys are getting into it, if I remember right, aren't there civilians like down there, like
Yep.
screaming at you and throwing rocks and shit at you? Like, why
Yeah.
are you stealing? Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Stop, please. Like, why? I mean, you can't understand them. They're speaking in a different language. You know what I mean? But
And like this is where like everyone's like, holy shit. Like even your squad mates are like, I think one of them goes, you want me to kill this guy or are you gonna do it? And he
Yeah.
goes, Walker's like, we get out of this, it's all yours.
Yeah.
You know? And it's basically
speaking
like
of Riggs, referring to Riggs.
yeah, speaking to Riggs,
Yeah,
because Riggs
yeah.
is like you're starting to realize everyone's realizing Riggs is like totally unhinged, and it's like this is kind of a bad plan. So there's he gives you a grenade launcher with infinite ammo. It's a brutal scene.
pretty good.
So this is brutal. It's also one of the fucking like coolest parts of the game.
So
It
was
is.
very
It's so
fun.
fucking cool.
You're on the back of the truck. You're hanging off with one hand like a garbage man, firing, and there's just like there's soldiers, civilians, and like jeeps coming at you from all angles.
And it's nothing. You just blast them.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
There's a couple moments that gave me trouble. There's one where you pull up to like a building where the whole facade's gone
Right,
off it.
because there's a roadblock.
Yeah, and so you have to stop there and hold up. I died like twice, 2 or 3 times there.
I made it through. I didn't die.
But it was because it took me a minute to get the angle of the grenade launcher for those long shots.
It does kind of lob.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
when you
for
have to
some of
kind
the
of aim like a
snipers.
floor or two above them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean, in order to get to them. So
And there
that
was-
part gave me some trouble.
And there was
but-
environmental stuff. Like there was like exploding barrels or
Yeah.
canisters.
Right,
and,
that was cool.
some
And
other
it's one
things
of,
you could
um,
knock down.
when I started realizing that you can, like any of the cement barriers and stuff, you can destroy those.
You can.
You can shoot them long enough until they break with a heavy gun, or you can blow them up. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh fuck, that's
which can really turn the tides.
but, yeah, or against you.
Yeah, yeah.
A Humvee crashes into Walker's tanker. Things are going very awry.
Going south.
There's a helicopter that tries to pin you down. That's also really intense.
Because you blow up the Humvee, then the helicopter comes, you blow up the helicopter, and then there's another Humvee.
Yeah,
It sucks. Sometimes it sucks that this whole story is, is anti-war, and it's painting a very dirty picture of this. Because like some sequences, like
Well, it still has to be a fun game.
Dichotomy.
We still have to make it a fun game.
God
Yeah.
damn it! I know we were murdering civilians and literally like either directly or by taking their water away, but goddamn, it was pretty cool.
So Conrad radios in. He's like, I told you there'd be a price for this, and this is the price. It's being paid right now. And Riggs says the 33rd aren't getting this water back, no matter the cost. And Riggs decides to crash the trucks into the roadblock and destroy all the water.
And you guys are pissed because you're on those trucks.
Yeah,
Right. The idea was to take the water,
Yes.
be in control of the water.
Hold it hostage.
It was not to
destroy. Like,
destroy all the water so everyone in Dubai died. Although maybe
I think-
Riggs wanted to do that all
think that might-
along.
that-
My theory is that was the plan all along.
I think that's what he
think
wants.
Riggs'
CIA could
plan
just
so that
extract and-
exactly.
Yeah.
So he could then just bounce.
What are they gonna
I
do,
don't even
find
think,
water?
based on something Riggs says in a moment at the end of this, you know what I mean? Because you do, in a moment. I don't think any of those CIA members went in there expecting to come out. You know what I mean? The way Riggs talks, it seems like he was kind of like, we were supposed to come in here and everyone's supposed to die, so no one knows what happens.
Jesus Christ!
Like, I'm not supposed to walk out of here to tell this story.
think it was a
you know what I mean?
final
I
page,
think that
final
was. I
chapter
think
on these
that was
guys.
the goal.
All right.
I think it was kind of like whether or not all of them knew that, whether maybe just Riggs knew that and the other CIA agents didn't.
I
You
could
know what I
see-
mean?
It's hard
But-
to say.
But just what he says to you in a moment, kind of when he's talking to you.
Right. Well, I think it was kind of like that he didn't... he even says, like, oh, it wasn't supposed to end this way. But it feels like he accepted the possibility that maybe no one gets out. You know, I'd like to get out, but I think he's, like, fully accepted that this is greater than him even.
yeah.
Not that he's, like, stoked on that. Anyway, so the opening cutscene is from Walker's point of view.
He's fucked up.
There's like, you somehow like get a vision of Conrad, and he's telling you that within 4 days, Dubai will begin dying of thirst, just like Riggs wanted. Conrad walks away, telling Walker that it's his fault and that he did this, and that it is not Conrad's fault. This is all on Walker. So you get up, you're wounded, everything's burning. Radio Man's like, they blew up the fucking water.
All right.
Those silly guys.
Radio Man starring
So
Cuba Gooding Jr.
as you're going, like, there's like civilians trying to like fill containers with water as it like pours out of the
Yeah.
trucks.
Good morning, Vietnam.
They're just doing everything they can. They're yelling at you. Like,
Yeah. You're the asshole.
Yeah. And you're unarmed. You have nothing. Like people are throwing
he's
rocks
pretty
at you
fucked.
and shit.
I think this is when half of his face gets just
Yeah,
He's
mostly
two-faced
cut
at
up.
this point. Yeah.
It looks
He's
like
Harvey
part of
Dent.
his-
he's fucked.
Part of his hair is
Just
gone.
take that down, please. With force.
Yeah.
And, this is like-
you're just do it. Your little pee-pee's hanging out. Is that what you're gonna say?
Your little peepee. It's scorched off, so he's newly circumcised.
Yeah. No. What were you gonna say?
This part was just another one of the, like, you've evolved to another stage of Walker where he has just become fully visually and mentally, just like in like kill mode and like survive and just kill mode where the call outs in battles that you have now, they've gotten even more severe.
Yeah.
Like, it's like,
Right.
he's fucking dead! And like shit like
Kill
that.
is fucking confirmed.
Yeah. Do you guys think, I meant to mention this way earlier, specifically when he yells, did you guys think that Walker kind of sounds, this is weird that I'm bringing up Breaking Bad again, he kind of sounds like Bryan Cranston? Did you pick up on that? No?
I've never watched that show.
You did a little bit.
I mean, maybe
didn't think
maybe
so?
with that
Most
context.
of the first episode.
Oh, okay. I thought you watched
Yeah, I was like, maybe when I play through it again, I might pick up on that. No, like with that in mind now, but it didn't. Like
when I first started hearing him yelling, I was like, God damn, that sounds, and I could be so wrong. I didn't A-B it, but I really
I
thought
started to
sounded
watch it,
like
and
Bryan
I was like, this seems like it's fucking trauma porn for fucking people who like want to hurt themselves for some reason.
We'll never do meth. Yeah.
I don't know. I was around too much of that sort of stuff in real life to want to watch a drama about it that's also kind of a comedy sometimes. I know there's a lot of lighthearted moments. It's kind of like, this is too close to home.
Yeah, I get it.
Not that not meth in my experiences, but
drugs.
yes, drugs and the effects I can have on people and the people around them.
It was super meth that you guys were.
Yes. So as you're walking through, you see,
And you're stumbling. You can barely.
yeah, I
move.
mean you're fucked.
Yeah.
But you find Riggs dying, trapped under a truck, and you try to lift the truck up. He's like, it's no
You
use.
like try to pull him, but it's like clearly like you'll just rip his torso off if
Yeah.
you pull hard enough.
His legs will stay there.
They're not going anywhere.
But this is where Riggs basically says, like, look, if people find out what he did, the whole region would declare war on them, and he attempts to like reach for a gun. He says that they would lose and that the world would never know. So Walker says you're insane, and that Riggs states that Gould said the same thing, and that what he has done may not have been nice, but it was the right thing to do. He reiterates to Walker that he himself won't be walking out of there alive, and asks Walker for a favor: don't let me burn. So Walker picks up the gun from Riggs.
Big ass revolver, I think.
Yeah, with one round. And you have the choice to either kill Walker, watch him burn, or just walk away from the situation.
Oh, okay.
What did you choose?
Jordan?
I killed Walker. I shot him right in his
I
head.
blasted him in the dome.
I walked away. I let him
Yeah.
scream. He just burned to death. I just listened to it.
If I had a greater understanding, because
You could
even
you
at
could
this
also just
point,
like stand over him and watch him burn though.
You can watch him burn to death.
I knew he was a bad guy that deserved to die, but I didn't fully understand everything yet. Probably would have gone with that now.
I was big on putting people out of their misery throughout this game.
I felt like he didn't suffer for the suffering he caused.
Yeah.
He's a
Was
bad
like
guy.
my internal logic there.
Yeah. I
What's
hear
the
you.
like? Is it just screaming until he stops moving?
Yeah. And so
That's how it goes when you burn it.
as you walk forward, there's like a trailer or something with like a graffiti on it.
Yeah.
That graffiti will change depending on the choice you made in that situation.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. And there's a fucking gazelle, or whatever sort of creature.
I didn't catch it in my capture this time because I like was turned away. But yeah, I think it is a gazelle that like is like
Yeah.
looking through
It's
the wreckage.
Those are some alien-ass looking
antelope.
creatures.
I think it's an antelope.
You might be right. Yeah, they have gigantic horns. They look like they're straight out of.
It's like
Lord of the Rings.
ibexes.
Huh?
Ibexes or ibexes.
Yeah.
Those
What
things
the
look
fuck
wild
are they?
too.
Where do they come from?
Africa. The deserts. Yeah.
It
Get
says
'em outta here.
it says it's an Arabian oryx.
Okay.
Can we get a hot pic of that? An Arabian.
It's probably
oryx?
something like an ibex that looks crazy too.
Yeah,
A
it
lot of those
was
things look
huge,
crazy, yeah. Mhm.
and I'm sure it was relatively to scale. It looked like the size of a meese.
Yep.
Jesus.
Cool.
Yeah, it looks like a large goat with like 4 foot long horns.
Have you
I
guys-
wondered. I had the thought if I hadn't wasted the bullet on Walker, could I have killed that thing?
That's what I want to know.
Yes, it's an achievement called the Deer Hunter.
Yeah. Oh, do you think
Which
it's
is
a
funny
reference
because
to?
Deer Hunter, famous with the
Mow!
Russian roulette scene.
Mow! Mow!
What? What?
Deer Hunter is a war movie where there's a very famous Russian roulette scene.
Oh.
Robert
Okay.
De Niro and Christopher Walken, and it's like Robert De Niro shaking, holding the gun to his head, and all the Vietnamese soldiers who are holding him hostage are like, "Mow! Mow!" which means go or now, I think. You know what I mean?
Does he know he has the bullet?
And he fucking clicks it, and it doesn't go.
You don't know. That's how you do it.
Oh,
That's-
okay.
You spin the chamber.
Well, if you're the last one after 5.
No, it's like you spin it,
Wow.
put it, shoot it,
Oh, spin
hand it
you
off
do
to the
one
next
now.
person.
All
And
right.
then,
Jesus. Have you guys seen the film Lamb?
no, you just
No.
watched that last night, so you can't act like you're ahead of me and asked me to use my Amazon
Very
Prime
fancy.
to do.
I paid you for it.
Yeah, with Matt's money.
Was
It was just a funny transaction.
Does that have anything to do with what we're gonna say now? Or you just said
There are horned creatures in that
Cool.
remind me of that thing in a way that I don't want to spoil anything.
okay.
So if you haven't seen it, then
Cool Deer Hunter reference, though.
you have
Yes.
seen it.
All right. Anyway, that is. None.
I don't want to spoil it.
All right. Well, then maybe don't even bring it
I
up.
thought maybe you had seen it.
If I had seen it,
I'd be like, you remember that one guy? And you'd be like, you're right.
yeah, it doesn't add anything for these people at home.
They would know if they've seen it also.
Okay. Anyway, So Lugo radios in and says they had to run. 33rd came in. They're being held down, basically. You have just the one bullet and you're alone. And you make your way into what I think is a big shopping mall.
Yeah, or no bullets if you shot Walker in the head.
Yeah.
Or if you shot, not Walker, but
right.
if you shot,
So you have no bullets.
Riggs in the head.
And I think you do, as you're going through, you find a corpse that has 12 or 24 rounds.
It was a little bit.
It was not a lot. It was just maybe a few clips. You know what I mean?
But it is a powerful gun.
Yeah.
It's one of those one-hit kill.
It's like a
type
45
handguns.
revolver.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a huge fight where there's a large, like, multi-tiered shopping mall, and it's like there's like a food court and stuff. There's like the big, like, colorful banners and everything. It's like you got the 33rd like just fucking you up, and there's it's multi-tiered, so there's like a sort of like walkways along the perimeter.
Yeah, it's basically like if you've ever been to like a bigger mall, like sometimes you look up and there's that balcony that kind of like goes all the way around everything. You know what I mean? But maybe there's like a little sky bridge crossing for you to like go from one side to the other. But in order to get to the other side, you usually have to go the perimeter of the building more or less.
And that's why you're stuck. So like well again, along the perimeter, there's these walkways. You're on one side, Lugo and Adams are on the other side.
Okay.
And you're kind of like trying to poof guys because they're held down. They do the same for you.
That's
eventually
fucking cool.
It was really cool. This is a great battle. This is all really super stuff.
Like a lot of the critiques of the game say that the best, like even you said it earlier, like the best gameplay happens in the second half of the game. Absolutely true.
Yeah. Well, that's when they start like introducing like that was just a really cool scenario.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was I've definitely played games that are similar to that where it's like, hey, cover these guys for a minute from over here but you're so close. You could literally like yell to each other from across it. You're like, "Hey, I'm right fucking here," and you're like, "How do we get to you?" I don't know.
I think there was even like
you zip line across the way, trying to get closer to them. You're still pretty fucking separated for the majority of this chapter.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is where they're able to provide some like assistance fire still, and so you're kind of like down. You still got very few bullets. You're behind like some countertops and stuff, like a little mall kiosk.
Yep.
Guys are rushing you, but this is where the scene happens where you're going through. You can pick up a couple other guns at this point, but you're still you're limited on ammo.
Yeah.
This is where you walk into a room that's full of mannequins, and the lights start to go out, and there's a heavy that keeps like every time you shoot him, he changes positions.
Yeah, it's like.
This was so hard.
This fucked me up.
I played on easy mode the second time through here just to like play. I just wanted to capture the footage and not like
plow through.
You know what I mean? I just wanted to get it done as quickly as I could for this show.
Did you use shadow play?
I always use shadow play.
Nice.
You should check it out sometime.
I've started using it.
How do you like it?
The footage looks identical to Streamlabs, but I do like the convenience of the always kind of recording thing.
Yeah, and also it's just a keyboard shortcut.
Rewind. Yeah. Alt Z or whatever.
Alt F9.
There you go.
Alt F9 just starts it.
It starts the
Alt Z
recording,
brings up the thing, but you don't ever have to actually go into that.
Yeah.
It's also more reliable on older games where you have the display cap. It's NVIDIA only.
Yeah.
But you know how some games like display capture, game capture, window capture on OBS?
Yeah.
And also sometimes like your aspect ratios in OBS need to be set. This just does it perfect every time.
It is the benefit.
I have some Radeon software that might, you know what I mean?
There's probably an
Radeon
equivalent.
has built-in software.
Either way.
Sorry.
Even on easy mode, I fucked up this like maybe 2 times.
Yeah.
Well, it's really fucking hard.
It's not easy at all. It's a really difficult section. He moves forward really fast.
Because he just appears where one of the mannequins were. And you don't kill him, you just have to take out all the mannequins and then he's gone. But like
he was on me before I fucking knew it. You know what I mean?
You do kill him.
Yeah.
Huh?
You kill him.
Yeah, but
He's
I'm
like,
saying
God, that fucker.
I don't think you can until you destroy all the mannequins. At least that's what happens.
It is like a scripted sequence that you have to go through.
You can't kill him before then, yeah.
The thing that really was rough is that they don't just like make it dark. The screen goes black except for your UI.
Yeah.
Entirely.
The lights flicker off
and they get
entirely.
faster and faster as the
like
flickers
strobing.
faster. Yeah, that fucked me up. I have a hard time with like flickering and I don't know. I'm not fucking gonna have a seizure.
I think everybody does. It's like
Yes.
I'm like, oh,
It's
like
It's
very-
supposed to be disorienting.
It's,
I couldn't look at the screen.
that's why it lasts for like 10 seconds.
yeah.
But
I-
10
I-
seconds is brutal.
I tried this probably at least like 3 times because he kept fucking me up.
Yeah.
And the stuff that Walker says during that too is also indicative of his mental state. He's just like, I don't need this shit right now, because he's like, I'm
Yeah.
crazy right now.
This is also like
I'm
when
trying to save my friends.
when you're reloading toward the other second half of the game, he goes, "Oh, this shit slowed me down."
Yeah.
You know.
Also, I
From
don't.
murdering more.
Yeah.
I can't kill people fast enough. I don't have all. I gotta put
But that's the thing.
more bullets in
It's
it.
all about urgency of like getting to Conrad over anything else
Yeah.
at this point.
And you're. I don't remember if we mentioned this. You're going through that boutique because Lugo and Adams are being pinned down, and they need you to flank some guys.
Yes.
So that's why you're going through. So it's like the heat is on.
Yeah, yeah. And the whole time is you're spending this entire mall section trying to reunite with them.
Yeah.
And you switch off between providing cover for one another.
And as cool as this sequence was, the next sequence is even cooler.
Yeah. So eventually, the mall is huge,
massive.
and you're able to see outside, and you come to a sort of like balcony window, and the facades of all these buildings are fucked up, so everything's like blasted open. You are on a giant mounted chain gun, and they're on the other side in a Donkey Kong style
It is
think of that.
zigzag thing.
Holy shit! I didn't think of that.
It's very old school in its presentation.
Yeah, it really
And they
is.
keep like, they let you know right before the next wave comes in. You know what I mean? They're like, there's a group of them coming from behind us. You gotta, you know what I mean? Like we can't get to
Very
them.
similar to the sniper thing in Max Payne 3, where it's like,
Yes.
guys are coming from above. And it's like,
Yeah.
what? From above?
Yeah, where? What do you mean?
Yeah.
There's like, but this, it was like actually pretty easy to see.
When they say behind, you're like, oh, I see that you're here.
Yeah,
They're
behind-
literally
behind
behind
me.
you.
Or they'll
Yeah.
say like, "We're trying to get up to the next level. You got to cover behind
yeah,
us."
they're coming down the
It's like,
stairs right at
I
us. You're
fucking
like,
actually
okay.
understand what you mean. Thank you.
So, I gotta tell you, I fucked this up in my first playthrough.
Yeah?
And in my second playthrough.
No
Oh, no.
kidding. I nailed it first try.
Same.
Well, I probably would have, and here's how I fucked it up. I was like, I can't aim this fucking gun.
Oh no! Did you forget to press the left trigger to?
So holding the left trigger will put you into a sort of almost like first-person view where you get a reticle and you can
Yeah.
aim. Otherwise, you're kind of just like,
Spraying.
yeah, and you can't really aim.
It's the same as like blind fire.
It
Like,
is.
like
Yeah.
you're,
You're
as
blind
accurate.
firing.
Yeah.
Is that what you were doing the whole time?
Yeah. I think the first time I
Jesus.
played the game, I did the entire thing blind fire.
Oh my god!
And it took
How
me
the
forever.
fuck? Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It was very hard.
That must have been
Oh
brutal.
my
Yeah.
God.
But this
And
segment.
Well, I was gonna say I got 75% through it and like tapped the trigger by accident. It was like, fuck. What? I was like, how did I never think? Because the thing is, because you can stand at it or you can crouch down. I'm
Yeah.
assuming crouching down is the blind fire and standing is the main fire mode. That's what was confusing to me.
Yes. Well, yeah, I mean, even the crouch down is just like a less accurate spray fire. You
Right.
know what I mean?
And a
But it's
lot
still
of-
the same thing. It's just like,
And you
yeah,
can still get hit.
yeah.
In a lot of games, when you get on the turret, you're just on the turret. There's
Right.
not also a
There's
zoom.
not 3 modes.
Because you
Yeah,
can't,
fair.
just like with a gun, you know, you can't really do that.
So
This part is something we mentioned earlier. Like this part was like the most like break the barriers up top. You destroy those, the guys have nowhere to hide.
Yeah, effectively, yeah, because you just destroy all those stone
yeah,
barriers.
there's like little low walls, like concrete, barrier walls on the roof of the building.
I'd
Yes.
play a
The guys
game.
are ducking behind. You can just blast them right off.
I'd play an entire game that was like this.
Rampart?
Yeah, pretty much. Like if it was like if you were
No, I'm
just,
asking, was it Rampart?
No, I'm saying I would play a game.
Oh, I thought you said you did.
No, if you were just on a turret and it had that same presentation and it was different each time and you had your little guys. It one where they go through a door at one point and then they're like, the door's locked, you gotta shoot the door, shoot the fucking
Yeah.
door, we're getting ambushed. You have to blast the door open.
Right,
It's
because they
fucking
barred the
cool.
door. They barred the door so they couldn't get through.
yeah.
It was a really sick,
sick
part.
as hell.
I would play a full game that was just sequences like that.
I would spend 15 minutes playing a mobile game like that.
Yeah, I was like,
I don't know if
I'd
I would play like a 6-hour campaign.
Yeah,
of
I'd for
that.
sure do like a demo. Like if it was a demo of a game where
I
like,
would, like it'd be like an arcade style.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I would play that. So this is what you wanted to talk about earlier.
Yeah.
Eventually, the guys do zipline over to you.
And if you stay behind the cover or in the thing,
Oh,
they'll
yeah.
like yell at Adam's just like, you gotta move, man. Like Luke was like, you gotta move, dude. Like you're in the fucking,
think
you're
it
right
was
in front of
Lugo
me.
for me.
Yeah. And for me, it was Adams yelling at me, like, you got to move. I'm coming right at you.
I didn't move.
Walker,
So
get out of the way.
I did, and then I was like, wait, no, I shouldn't have.
What happens?
So then I tried to run back quick, and I did in time, and then Adams just like fucking hits you.
He just
and
clocks you.
He just kicks you, and you fucking hit the ground. And he's like, I've told you to move.
Yeah.
I let them both kick me.
Yeah.
You can have them both. Oh, because
Yeah.
you can do one and then the other.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, there you go.
I just
Was
thought
there-
it was funny.
Was there
I
unique
thought it was funny
dialogue
too.
for having them both hit you.
No, I don't remember them
Okay.
saying anything in particular.
I had Lugo just clocked me, and he,
Yeah.
and he was just like, "What the fuck, man? I told you."
I
to move."
think
Yeah.
he says like, "Are you all right?" or something to me.
Yeah.
But,
like they're
but I, like,
sympathetic.
I tried-
but they're
That was very
also-
funny.
I
they're
went
also
to
just
move
like-
away, and then I was like, no, it'd be way funnier if he kicked me. So I went
Yeah.
back to the cover.
it is neat. They put dumb little video gamey things, and they're like, "What happens if
Yeah.
the guy kicks me when he comes in?"
Because did
Yeah.
you guys utilize that at all? That if you do vault over into somebody, you kick them.
Yeah.
I don't
When
think
you
I
vault
ever.
over, no.
I didn't know if that would happen, so I didn't want to risk it.
It happened like on accident
It's
the first
an
time,
achievement.
and
It
I was
doesn't
like,
always work
Yeah.
the way you
Yeah.
think it would because the placement has to be correct. But
But-
it's possible.
and you can't vault over everything, even though some of them seem like you're like, this is the same height and width as the other shit I can vault
Yeah,
over.
I noticed that.
Or like
Yeah.
this one just has a bit more of a tabletop. You could still get over it.
I wish. We already talked about the controls, but I wish that every now and then you can do the swap. Do you guys remember that when you're in cover?
Slip out or swap, yeah.
Yeah, you could
Yeah.
like slip over to the other side. That's really clean in,
Yeah.
in Gears of War. But
Oh,
I felt like
I
in
liked
this
it.
one, there's I feel like I had to move the camera a lot in one direction for it to give me that option.
Yeah.
But in Gears, you can just hold that
It
direction.
just clearly wasn't. It wasn't as refined as it could have been. The whole
Yeah.
kind of cover system. I think it worked well enough, but there was definitely moments where I wanted to clip to something and I wouldn't for some reason, or
Yeah.
like I would when I didn't want to. It was hard to get off of cover
a
sometimes.
couple
I
moments
spent a lot
where-
more time in the open.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
It was
I didn't snap to cover that often. I did a lot of crouching.
I don't think it was. I don't think
Thank
it was
God.
to its detriment. You know what I mean?
If you
But-
couldn't crouch, this would be a much larger issue.
Yeah, I don't like snap cover as a
I'm not a
mechanic
huge
that much. I
fan.
think it's just like a little like I like a little more freedom in my movement,
Yeah.
and that always makes me feel like I got a magnet on my butt.
We should find some footage to show you of people got so incredibly good at it in Gears of War, and they designed it in such a way that it could kind of be exploited, where you could just like do like a triangle of like tap 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 tap, and like let off a round in between that, and you
Yeah.
just could not be hit because
Makes
like you
sense.
literally are kind of teleporting. It's very
there
funny
was a
to watch
few
this.
exploits.
Yeah. Holy smokes.
So you were all together here, and you breach a door. And on the other side of the door is a soldier who gives himself up.
Yeah, I surrender.
He says he's Staff Sergeant Josh Forbes, service number 86753.
Oh, nine.
Zero.
Then he gets cut off by a walker pistol whipping him.
Yeah, this is a very dumb joke.
What a lame dude. But what I couldn't tell is was,
86753.
was he being an asshole, or do you think that was just like
No, I think that's just an inside joke from the developers.
Yeah.
that's funny? I
so-
caught it instantly. I was
So
like,
Forbes, like Walker's like, don't give me that shit. You're not a POW. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you're not even a soldier to me.
Yeah.
you're an ant beneath my boot.
So he's asking him like, how do I get to Radio Man? And he's like, you'll never get there. It's like the most heavily guarded, tallest tower in all of Dubai.
Dubai.
But Walker keeps pressing him, and he says, okay, well, he's at the top of the Trans Emirates building, points to him. Walker asks Lugo if he can broadcast from there, and, you know, if they are able to get there, like, we can radio for evacuation, get the
Yeah.
fuck out of here. So what Josh Forbes, the, you know, surrendered soldier, says is, like, you can't get a message through the storm wall.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
you're
been our
just
whole
not
problem.
gonna be able
That's
to do
the whole-
that.
I was like, that's why we're here. Like, did you forget about that part?
And you know, he's saying like Colonel Conrad only wanted to keep people alive. He's like defending Conrad.
You mean Colonel
Walker,
Clusterfuck?
Walker's like, yeah, I'll keep that in mind next time Conrad tries to fucking kill me.
Yeah.
So this is where he then just cracks him in the head with the butt of his gun, and they leave him. I'm assuming they leave him alive.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he's dead.
He's feeling it, but he's probably
He's
alive,
not great.
Yeah. He's not just like going for a run.
So this brings us to chapter 12, the Rooftops, which is.
Oh, this was sick.
Yeah, I mean, the game just really amps up,
It
ramps up from
so
there, I should say.
fucking hard in these next couple of chapters. Because what are we on? Are we on 11 now?
This is 12?
Or 12. We're moving into 12, yes.
Yeah. Lots of snipey action here.
Or no. I thought 12 starts with the Radio Man.
Well, you're wrong. I mean, 12 is where you're making your way
Fucking
to him.
moron.
Okay. My memory's just... That was like my pickup point, and I thought I restarted chapter 12.
And you meet him in 12.
Oh, okay, that's probably what it was.
Yeah, so basically, this is where you're, like, getting to him. You know, you're going through, you're fighting your way up to that tower, and then you find the tower, you see it's got all, like, the fucking radio equipment all over it.
Bunch of flags all over and
Yeah.
shit, too, and, like...
Yeah, it says, like, you know, tune into the truth.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so you're, like...
As if you're not millions of miles up in the sky where anybody could see it.
You're across the way from them, and you see, like, a big dance floor, like, full of
Yeah.
mannequins.
Yeah.
And soldiers, and you're like sniping all the soldiers and stuff before you
Yeah.
get over.
There's got a little grill going.
Yeah,
You guys see the
it's a
grill?
little party area.
It was super fucking good. I love this scene too. I love picking
was really
people off
cool.
and trying to like keep up with them coming down the stairs and
Yeah,
stuff. And
But
like,
what was so interesting is that your cover there, you have those like it's just like they almost look like tombstones where it's just like I don't know what you call them. There's like what the fuck would you know what I'm talking about? The things that you use as cover between you and that building.
I don't remember what they were.
There's like little cement blockades. I don't know.
Yeah, that are just like the,
Those can get broken down easily.
Yeah, it looks like the top. It looks like the top of a castle wall where it's
Right,
like a
little
block
ramparts.
and then a missing block. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But they will get destroyed, so you have to switch to the next one. You switch to the next
Right,
one. You're
yes,
running
yes,
out of
yes,
them.
yes.
This is a cool
And Radio
fucking
Man's
scene.
joking. He's like, "Oh man, excuse the mess. You'd swear a storm blew through here or something." And he's like, "Oh, you're killing that guy. I like that guy."
Yeah, he's like, oh, he had a wife and kids. Oh, he had a
Yeah.
family. How could you do that to him?
You're one sick bastard.
He's also, if you find intel on Radio Man as you go through the game, he was like, I believe he used to be like a Rolling Stones journalist
yeah.
who like got into, you know what I mean, doing like the war journalism and stuff. He always thought he was kind of crazy, like Walker did, because he's interacted with him before. But then you find stuff showing that like Radio Man found out and was trying to gather evidence against the elites in Dubai because he knew that they were planning on evacuating and were downplaying it before that had
Yeah.
happened. And he was trying to
He
spread
was
that
trying to
word.
expose that. So I think like what Walker says something like I guess he was trying to have some sort of authentic credit or cred or whatever. He was trying to go. What's the word? He was trying to go not official, but like not just dog shit talking about stupid bullshit.
He's trying to whistleblow on the situation.
Yeah, trying to become more real,
More legitimate.
But
legitimate. There you go. Thank you, Christ. What a hard word for me to think of.
so
Brain a workout.
you eventually get over to the tower, and you're in the base of the tower, and this whole battle is really intense. But you get in there, and like the music's playing, and there's just like blue, like lava lamp kind of light everywhere. And it's like
dark
really
light.
like there's great use of different colored lighting throughout this game to communicate
God,
different
yeah.
moods, and it's never like, ooh, the blue light represents this, and it's like it's just like. No, it just fucking looks good and
just makes
gives
sense.
great atmosphere.
Yeah, and it really seemed like it would be like it would be a party place. There's speakers everywhere. I remember.
Yeah,
like,
there's
he's
game
the radio guy,
consoles.
yeah.
Like, there's a bunch of like. At one point, when you're in the mall earlier, you like go past a giant like Gears of War looking over.
Yeah,
guy,
I saw that
Yeah.
guy.
And then you find like the video game case in the lounge area
Oh, that's
in
funny.
the radio tower.
There was like a vinyl.
funny.
There was some vinyl that had like bands that
I feel like-
almost looked like they were real.
Yeah, there was a bunch, and there was also there was a book called Bridges, and it's funny because there's also a book called Bridges that looks kind of similar in Heavy Rain. I was like, is there any
prefer-
chance that like this is like just like a stock asset that both
Right.
these people are using?
I prefer Chair magazine from Max Payne.
Yeah.
Chair Weekly.
Chair Weekly.
I can't think of what the console like. I thought it looked like a 3DO. It doesn't look like a 3DO. It looks like a Jaguar or something. It's like the video game console. It looked like a double wide Dreamcast or
They're
something.
like a Sega Saturn or something like
Yeah.
weird. Yeah.
It was like a weird disc-based system that like didn't exist, but I thought it was like a neat touch. Also, in this in these scenes, like you can smash the TVs, and they do like the thing where
Oh, okay.
like digital TVs when you break them, they like get all the weird scan
Staticky?
lines and
Yeah. Oh,
well,
okay.
they can't do static because it's not
That's not
analog.
connected.
They just
Yeah.
get the scan lines. Though,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Okay.
Anyway, get all the way up to the tower eventually. You see the radio man, and he's basically just like, "Hey, have
He
at
like
it."
waves a white flag.
Yeah,
He's an asshole. He's
being a little
smoking.
joker,
He has
man.
his back to you and he's waving the white flag. He's like, "Looks like you guys made it." What's
He's
up?
rolling around.
But
in
he's
his,
like,
chair.
he's got to be past the point of sanity himself in a lot
Yeah.
of ways. And they set everything up, and they're being kind of like amicable with him, and it's like
Yeah,
He's telling him how to
because
do
he's
it,
like
yeah.
amicable,
amicable is the
Amiable?
word, yeah, and amiable.
Amiable.
they're being amiibos with him.
They're being and
They got the Radio Man amiibo.
They're passing him around,
but,
putting him on the Switch.
He's like, Lugo, you think you can do this? And Lugo's like, yeah, I should be able to. And then he's like, is everything all good? Can we broadcast to everybody? And the guy like clicks on a thing or whatever, and he's like, yep.
Give it a shot.
You're fucking good to go. Broadcasting as far as the fucking storm wall, you know what I mean?
And they're talking about how like they're using the storm wall to like ping signals and like it's like an echo thing to like, you know, work the like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like
Triangulate? What are you talking about?
like no, well not to find a position, but to like to use the storm wall as a thing to bounce the signal off of, and then like
To
signals
send it
would
further.
go through, and like and then they mentioned that like even like some of like the loop messages that were playing were like an echo that got like trapped in the storm wall was like going out like long. It wasn't necessarily like being broadcast at that time.
Yeah.
It was that like it was called like a ghost signal or something, where it was like somehow
He was constantly picking up other voices too. Where they were like, I hear other voices. What is that? Who's, you know what I mean? Somebody listening
That's
to us.
what
And
I'm
he's like,
talking
no,
about,
no,
yeah.
we're just picking up any signal is pinging off the storm walls, so you're picking up every signal there effectively.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're getting all transmissions.
it's like acting as some sort of like, you know,
Radar
Conduit.
jammer.
conduit for the signals.
Lightning rod.
Yeah. So I thought it was really crazy that could even be a thing. And as soon as you get everything, you know, sorted out,
Our buddy Lugo.
He confirms that you can definitely broadcast to everybody.
is it Lugo?
It's Lugo.
Okay.
says,
Is it
"Come,
Lugo? Oh yeah. So Lugo.
Come, testing, come.
Yeah,
come.
yeah. And then
Come 1, 2.
And then the guy, then Radio Man swallows his gum. No, but is it Lugo who kills Radio Man?
He blasts him in the
Yeah.
Because
fucking
Lugo,
head.
he's like, he gets it all set up. He's like, this is good to go, right? We can broadcast to everybody. And he's like, you're good to go. And he's like, good. And as soon as he knows he doesn't need Radio Man's help
Yeah.
to establish connection anymore, he like shoots him in the chest, shoots him in the head. Like
Yeah.
2 or 3 shots into him.
Brutal.
And they're like, what the fuck?
Adams and I don't remember. Adams certainly reacted. I don't remember how Walker. Did Walker do anything?
I think Walker goes right for the radio, right for the microphone to do the broadcast. Adams is like, what the fuck? You can't do that. And he's like, yes, we can. That dude had the 33rd on our ass the whole time. What do you mean?
Yeah.
And they're like pushing each other up against the radio, and Walker's just like, well, who cares?
Everybody's dead.
Everybody's dying.
So
I'm
Walker
clearly
says,
insane.
Walker says, to anyone that can hear me, I'm the commander of an American evacuation force. We're here to rescue you, but first, the 33rd will pay for what they've done. Conrad then makes himself known, saying he's disappointed in Walker. And he stresses that no one leaves Dubai. The 1,300 men, women, and children died because of his own mistake, and that Walker seems to want to finish off the rest of them. He finishes that if Walker will not learn from Conrad's mistake, then there is nothing more he can do. And
he
then
says, like, your butcher's toll is already high. Isn't your butcher's toll high enough already? Or
yeah,
whatever.
he's like, you're never gonna get the civilians to the storm wall. You gotta
Yeah.
just like stop this.
Because
Yeah,
they said
you
there
had-
was 47 civilians in the white phosphorus bombing, but like
Yeah.
killed a lot of other guys. You know,
Those
like,
are the
I
only
can't-
civilians you definitely directly killed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Aside from the ones that you shot.
Except for, I
That's
shot
Jordan
one lady
specifically.
on accident.
48.
She could have been pregnant
48,
at 49.
Never really know.
So as this is going on,
There's no tests to determine that. so
there's
figure it out.
a helicopter comes firing at you and stuff, and you're like, you gotta go down.
Yeah.
You start to hear I guess I don't know if it starts firing on you immediately, but you hear it
No,
coming, and you like,
the helicopter comes and lands, and you're trying to leave the tower, so you go. That helicopter's our only way out.
Yeah,
But the
right.
helicopter drops off like a bunch of those tactical guys with the P90s,
Zulu squad.
the Zulu squad. So you're like, we got to get there, but fuck, man, we gotta fight through.
gotta-
And then
so you and Adams go ahead, and Lugo stays there
yes.
for cover.
And at first, Adams protests. Lugo's like, I'll stay here and cover you guys. And Adams like, fuck that.
Yeah.
And then you're like, no. Yes, fuck Lugo, fuck that. You shot that guy in the face.
Yeah.
But Lugo's right. You know what I mean? You got to let him cover. It makes more sense.
Yeah.
They probably increased
So-
it, yeah, because he's sniping.
You guys, you and Adams battle through. Lugo's like, just tell me what to do. I'll help you. And like this is where he's actually pretty useful. You know.
Yeah, you
just
can
as
mark
a-
people. I was mostly marking people up on like the balcony and the overpass. That like, because they're the way this next part is set up. Like they're coming downstairs at you, and there's guys coming at you as you're trying to get over to the helicopter.
Yeah.
He's kind of
And I was just like, get the guys I can't shoot who are above me, please. I kept marking those. Like, get him.
So
I ripped ass through this part. I don't
Yeah.
know. Like,
It's a great part.
I,
I
just,
I didn't
like,
have a ton of problems.
for whatever reason, like all my brain synapses were working, and I was just like headshots.
it's also kind of like amping you up. You know, it's like this is I could be wrong. It's not a terribly difficult part.
no, not super bad.
But they take out one of your squad mates. So like it's almost like your odds are a little bit lower, even though he's there for like backup.
Technically
and then
he's not right there.
And then you do tear through a bunch of guys, and you're like feeling all amped up. And then when you finally do reach the helicopter, you got the chain gun, and then you're like even more amped up. And it almost felt to me like they were like prepping you for this next scene where Walker just decides to fucking shred the entire building, and you're just like destroying everything. You destroy the radio tower.
Yeah, you literally shoot the giant glass tower until it collapses in on
falls
itself.
down,
Yeah. And then he's like,
many
bring the
bullets.
bird back around. I want to see what this gun can really do. And you're just like,
And Adam's just like,
wrecking
what?
Why?
But Lugo, for whatever reason, now in this moment is like, it's funny, the dichotomy. It's not funny. It's weird, the dichotomy of like the constant. They kind of go back and forth, where like Adams kind of seems as though he's more of the stay in line, follow the orders guy, while Lugo's more of the rebel. But they switch back and forth on that depending on the scenario at certain points. You know what I mean? Where sometimes it is Adams being like, why do you want to do this? While Lugo's like, yeah, kill him. And then other times it's kind of like Adams being like, no, we're following orders, we have to do what he says. While Lugo's like, we can't do this isn't okay. So it's fun, I don't know. I liked watching that dichotomy.
Yeah,
It feels kind of human.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's very, very human.
They're both like, you can tell what their like sort of core motivations and like allegiances are, but they obviously struggle to maintain those. Because
It's war.
Yeah.
Doggy. And you're effectively alone. You're not even, it's not really even war anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
You're just murdering.
well, like Walker even said, like to Forbes, the surrendered soldier, he's like, you're not even a fucking soldier to me. Like, this isn't a war. Like, you're not a prisoner of war right now. So you're going through, and as you're trying to escape this scene of destruction, a bunch of more helicopters start following you, and then you're suddenly back in the prologue of the game.
Yeah, and my favorite part of this is Walker goes, hey, wait a minute. We already did this.
Yeah.
And then Adams and Lugo are like, what are you talking about? And
I
he's
think
like,
Adam
God.
says, what? What do you mean?
Never mind, just keep it steady or whatever, you know what I
He says,
mean?
fuck it.
Yeah.
I love this part.
That's so cool.
It's very
that's
fun.
That's like a big like that part is probably as significant as the white phosphorus thing. Like him being like, wait, we already did this before.
Yeah. So
And you do the same scene.
yeah, it ends a little bit differently.
Yes.
Take us into the storm. Why? I don't know.
Fuck it.
Try it. All
Right,
right. Fuck
that's
it
the other
again.
thing,
Has
is
anyone
like-
tried it? No one.
It's the only thing no one's done yet.
No one's tried it.
So chapter 13, the helicopter has crashed. If the you'll have the Desert Eagle on this one, but basically it opens with you by yourself in a sandstorm. The tower is burning in front of you that you just fucking destroyed.
Yeah.
And
You start out on
there's
the
a bunch
hands
of
and knees.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of charred bodies.
Holy
and
shit.
I think this is where you don't you. Well, I guess I'll see here as I read on.
I believe you're separated from both of them and you regroup with Adams first.
But you have
Right.
you have a moment.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Shut up.
Anyway, what I was gonna say is, you're looking up at this like burning tower. You're like moving toward it, and you're beginning to like see ghosts of the people that you encountered and killed. So McPherson, Gould, and Riggs, you see hallucinations of all of them, and like they're all blaming you for the status of Dubai and what's going on there. And Walker eventually snaps out of it, and you hear Adams over the radio. So like now you're awake, you're there,
Right.
and you're in like a ship graveyard where there's like yachts like buried all over the sand, like half sticking out. It's a really crazy scene. You know that Adams is being held down by enemy fire. You need to make your way over to him. So as the hallucination clears, you see the scene, and as you make your way toward him, he's like kind of like in one corner, and there's a bunch of like parts of yachts and ships and stuff like sticking out that you can use as cover.
Yeah.
But you need to make your way over to him, heal him,
Yeah,
and
'cause
then
he's down.
like fight through a bunch
Like
of
a
guys.
fucking-
There's waves of heavies. There's like 3 or 4
Yeah.
heavies, and everyone else is like a Zulu soldier. It feels
Yeah.
like this is
Jesus,
this
this part was hard.
Maybe the hardest part in the game for me combat wise, if not it does just continually increase. It's just like
Yeah, but I'd say this was probably like because of the length of time that it lasts and the amount of like different there's one point where like you and Adams are like on a yacht holding the yacht as they're like,
Yeah.
coming from around you and stuff. And it's
God
like,
darn.
But this
yacht.
first part specifically, I had so much trouble with because
Oh,
you get
okay.
flanked so easily.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like the opportunity for flanking exists even at that part, in this whole section,
Yeah.
as you're like going through the yacht graveyard.
I got like when you're like holed up in the yacht, I just got like a great position. Just fucking, I had no problem. With that at
I
all.
must have had a horrible spot because dudes were coming like up the stairs behind me on the ship.
That's why
and people were like,
the first like I tried it one or two times. It's like fuck, I gotta change my strategy. And then somehow I just got it so nice.
Yeah.
And I was feeling like, oh man, I'm really killing. I'm really doing it. But
kept-
yeah, this first
kept
part, I
blowing
just
it.
kept getting flanked. And you have the Desert Eagle with barely any bullets in it. And so you need to go out of cover to like grab a gun because
Yeah.
you're not letting the guys get close to you if you're
But
going to avoid it.
the second you do that, you got like
you're getting blasted. The second
Five
you do that,
guys
you're like
blasted,
immediately everything's white.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
This
'Cause
is
you've been
oh
shot.
yeah, you're getting shell shot constantly. This is it's just really fucking hard. So
Yeah.
you fight all the way through. There is a section where you're like you are trying to hold the yacht for a moment as like a little like just like a large place of cover essentially.
get through that wave.
It's just the high ground.
because the guys drive in and unload out of a car, and that's where there's a knife runner man.
Yeah.
He destroyed me like 5 times.
Yeah.
I died so much at this yacht part. I think I died like 7 times that the game asked me if I wanted to lower the difficulty.
Oh no.
And I was just like, no! I hit no, and I kept going.
It's like, just a heads up, we can't take this game below easy. So.
Yeah. Also, at this point in the game, the loading sequences, the little blurbs they have are just brutal at this point.
Yeah.
Like, how many Americans have you killed today? Or like,
Yeah.
none
Yeah.
of this matters.
you're still a good person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do eventually defeat all the 33rd soldiers in here, and you try.
She just wants to be part of the discussion on Spec Ops.
Once you take out all the 33rd soldiers, you try to radio into Lugo, being like, "All right, we're all clear. Like, we're coming for you." And you hear him screaming for help, and you think that 33rd soldiers have found him. But when you get there, it's a bunch of civilians, unarmed, who have captured him and have him like hanging.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And you shoot down the rope, and like Walker's trying to like do CPR on him, and he dies.
In the meantime, Adams is like holding the gun, like yelling at them to stay back because you're surrounded
They're
Right.
by
like,
these
kind of
refugees.
encroaching you and
Yeah,
intimidating you.
he's like
and-
asking you what to do. He's like
like, "Give me
screaming
the
at Walker. He's
word,
like, "Give me the word, and I'll fucking open fire. I'll mow all these guys down." And
they-
you're just like,
Those are directly the people responsible for hanging
and you're
Lugo.
just disassociating as you're
So-
trying to save a definitely dead Lugo.
Again,
Yeah.
Lugo's dead. You can find his gun. It's a unique
Really?
weapon that you can find in this area. Yeah.
I grabbed
Fuck.
it.
I did not.
But you are being approached by the civilians, so you have 3 choices. You can do nothing, in which case they will stone you to death, essentially.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You can kill them all, or what I did, I fired 1 warning shot into the air, and they scattered.
Yeah, that's what I did.
I
as well.
tried to just walk through them at first.
They'll
I was
kill
like,
ya.
maybe I can just, but they immediately he
fucking
fucking
smack ya.
threw me onto the ground.
It put me at, like,
and
half
immediately
health.
it took
Yeah.
half my health away. So I was then very much I had that thing where I was like, this is another decision. I was like, I don't have to kill these guys.
Yeah.
So I kept shooting in the air, and then anytime I was walking near a group of them, because there's a couple moments where like they start throwing more rocks at you,
Yeah.
or screaming at you more, and you shoot near them again, and they'll fucking run away. You know what I mean? Or I was shooting the ground near them sometimes, and
There, yes.
What did you
What the
choose
fuck?
to do?
I also shot in the air. But I gotta say, I did consider blasting these folks because it almost felt like clearly they're civilians and they're ultimately the main victims here. But I was just like, I killed Lugo.
Yeah.
Nothing matters anymore.
well, you have
this
to
place
kind-
sucks.
Yeah, I hear that, and that's definitely like the
wanna go
mindset.
home.
I
That's
wanna go
definitely the
home.
mindset that Adams was in, because he's like,
Yeah.
give me the word, and I'll fucking kill
He's
all
like,
these
I don't
guys.
care anymore. And he maintains that.
Yeah.
for the rest
He's
of the
also
game.
feeling a lot more threatened, because like you're kind of like
Disassociating and
he's
just
being
focus on Lugo.
he's engaging with them directly, and you're kind of just like in your own world for a moment as you're dealing with
Not really
with Lugo.
talking to him.
So it's like
What is the name officially of the guy who has the Spec Ops: The Line 5 years later video? It's Ray
know.
Ray Vic.
I don't know.
It's a really great video. I keep forgetting the name of the guy, but in his video,
Iceland?
yeah, that's his name. Really great video, very good guy. He has a clip from that moment that he plays in that video where he's getting taunted, like you were talking about, by one of the guys after that first initial dispersal, And he's like, "You fucking American cowards!" He's like, "You're murderers!" And like right as he says it, like he happens to aim at that guy, and the guy goes, "Oh shit!" And he runs away. It's pretty goofy.
They have very realistic reactions to like pointing your gun at them or shooting near them or whatever.
He's like, "You fucking cowards!" And he's like, "Oh shit!"
So
Dodges out of there.
you do eventually go, oh, there's our exit, and you see like there is like an actual like door like out of this area.
Yeah.
And it's like it's a refugee camp that you're inside of.
Oh yeah, my point though is that like these refugees don't know Lugo from any other soldier. So like while there's that connection that you had to kill all of them, at the same time it's like he's just a soldier, and the soldiers have been killing.
They think you could be CIA. They think you could.
They don't care.
They don't know who you are.
Don't care.
But you get out.
You get out. There's a cutscene. It says Walker says, "If you're listening, Colonel, this is what happens now. I'm going to kill every last one of your men, and then I'm going to kill you. Sergeant Lugo is dead. For that, I will give no quarter. You brought this on yourself." So,
Haunting words.
the next chapter, chapter 14, the bridge.
Another really fucking hard sequence in this one.
Yeah, the level opens with Walker and Adams crouched discussing Lugo's death. It is clear that Adams solely blames Walker for Lugo being killed.
Oh, he says it directly.
Yeah.
He's like,
pulls
it's
no
all.
punches.
He says like, this is all Conrad's fault. We gotta take it out. He goes, no, this is your fault.
Yeah.
He's like, he died because of you.
And then like pretends to shoot at him or something.
Yeah. And then he's just like, keep going. I guess.
Like, we'll go. Okay. Because
I
kind of
think-
doesn't even acknowledge it.
I think Adams has resigned himself similarly to the way Riggs had earlier.
He's like, I'm dying.
I'm not making it out of here.
Yeah.
I don't think he
Right.
wants to. You know what I mean? Like,
So, you go through a little building. There's more Zulu soldiers, and you hear a soldier, a 33rd, go, "Don't let Delta reach the gate. Light him up now." And then there's a mortar, and there's a white phosphorus sound, and you'll start to experience another hallucination. Conrad's like, "Welcome to hell." And there's like a bunch of flaming soldiers walking toward you.
No, the lights go out.
they all swarm you if
Did
you
you
don't.
did you kill them?
Paul Bearer.
No, they
comes out.
swarmed me.
Yeah, but if they swarm you, you don't take any damage.
I noticed. Yeah, they just kind of like beat up on you a little
Oh,
bit. They, like,
yeah.
Right,
Okay.
but you can waste your ammo in this part and like try to take out the flaming soldiers.
Yeah.
You can kill him though, can you or no?
You can, but I'm saying like they were never a threat.
Oh, but they're
not real,
It's a hallucination
Yeah,
meant
I
to
didn't-
fuck you up.
I didn't know what was going on in that sequence, and I think I was distracted, like thinking about the dialogue or whatever. And they swarmed me and they just kicked my ass, and then I just came back.
You kind of like do this thing where you're like, you like kind of push them off or whatever, and then you're like out of the hallucination.
Yeah.
So you have to take out the mortar, and this is where there's like several strategically placed pillbox kind of structures with machine gunners in them, and you kind of gotta go
Damn.
like zigzag across this crazy battlefield.
This shit was
trying to
hard.
get there. This is
And half of
also
the-
really fucking difficult.
Half of the cover you can get behind is destructible
Yep.
too.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to.
you can't take your time here. That's
No.
why.
And, like-
That's why I think the regenerating health thing shoots you in the foot if you rely on it too long, because your health is not gonna last, and you can't stop and recharge it.
And it's like you kind of have Adams leading the way a little bit, but it's like even
Yeah.
then it's like he might be somewhere, but you can't get there necessarily. You have
With
to
all
find
those
your own
goddamn
ways.
turrets. Fortunately, at this point, I still had the instant kill sniper. And that was
Okay.
the only way I got through that section.
I was telling you, you guys didn't like it, but that FAMAS, the
I
FAMAS,
don't even know if I tried it.
that's a 3-round burst with the scope.
Yeah, I
So
remember seeing
good,
it.
so OP, so good.
I wish I had.
I loved it.
But yeah, even in this part, a lot of the cover is, for lack of a better term, the cover is like vertical, whereas they're attacking you from like perpendicular to that, so it's like it's not helpful. It was a hard sequence. It took me a couple tries.
Yeah, very fucking difficult, very long battle. Like I was trying to snipe guys, and I was able to snipe a bunch of the machine gunners, but
And
the
they
thing
just
is,
kept coming back.
well, any guy that I don't even know if they come back or it's just like any guys near there. Like, cause there's sometimes guys on the side.
Yeah.
You kill a machine gun, the guy will just walk over like,
Hug
I'm
you.
on it now.
Yeah.
I'm not dead.
I'm not sure if it's a finite thing or if they keep respawning. It's hard to say.
I couldn't tell because it was like there was like, I only remember the one on the right where I definitely killed 2 guys. Like one guy was in there, I killed him. Another guy came, I killed him, and nobody else came back to that
The
one.
one on the left felt like they were possibly respawning, but also that's where all the guys were. So
Yeah.
I thought maybe it was just like, maybe there is a finite, but I didn't, I was like, I'm not going to wait this out.
No.
Once I got down to the final couple guys at that point, I was so paranoid. I was like, I cannot fucking die here. I'm not redoing all that shit.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
so I
You
just
can't- you can't save,
looking
it's
around
like, it's all a
corners.
checkpoint system, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So like you die, you're back.
And it was much better than the Call of Duty that we just played.
You guys
as far as
didn't
checkpoints.
know that you could just save whenever in that game.
Right. Like we said. But anyway, when you,
Idiots.
when you get to the end of this battlefield
Bad
area,
Pause menu.
Bad game. I'm kidding. It's a good game.
when you get to the end of this battlefield area, there's like a door, and as you approach it, the door blasts open. There's a heavy, but you see it as Lugo.
He's screaming at you.
Yeah.
He's
He
like,
Lugo?
And if he kills you, you like die, and you get like a weird hallucination on your death screen. Then you come back, and you're like, huh? And you're like back in the same scene again.
Oh, no shit. I didn't
Yeah.
know
oh,
that.
okay.
He didn't kill me, but he got
He did
close.
not kill me, no.
And then if you do it again, it's just a normal enemy that time.
Oh, okay. I blasted his ass.
Yeah.
So you go in, and this is where that's where you get the AA-12.
Because you get it off him. I remember Adams, too, yelling at you because you go, Lugo?
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what is wrong with you, dude?
Done.
Yeah, he's not. No, he's over
Crazy
it.
this
So
entire time.
You're making your way up this little stairwell, and there's like a little catwalk, and then another little like bridge type thing, and there's more guys. There's another machine gunner, but like you're so close to wherever you're trying to get to, whatever your goal is at this point now.
Yeah.
Trying to get the fuck out of here.
Honestly, I don't know.
You're
I mean,
just
it's
fighting
kill
through.
Conrad.
So-
Walker's just like, go forward.
At this point, this is a really intense fight again. The intensity stays hot this whole
Yeah.
time. It's just heavy guns. Once you get through all these guys, you get to the edge, and then like there's the two Humvees and a helicopter, and they're like, surrender. And Walker's like, all right, let's surrender. Like, it's the only way we're gonna get to Conrad. And he's like, what? Like,
Adams is
what are you
like,
fucking
no.
talking
Yeah.
about? This is insane. And so he says, Walker says it's the only way to get to Conrad. And Adams says, the mission's over, we failed. And Walker says, not while I'm still breathing. And I think he says something like, then breathe, motherfucker, and he like pushes him off the edge.
He was like basically like, oh, then you can make it home. You know what I mean? Like, go ahead. Cool.
He just-
I'm not.
he
I'm
just-
done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he just like, I think your objective is just run or like survive. Oh no, it's what is it? Oh shit.
I thought I just said run.
It says run, goddammit, because that's,
Oh, yeah,
that's what he
it says
tells you
run,
to do.
goddammit. Yeah.
And that's your objective, run, goddammit.
So, like, Adams won't refuse. I'm assuming that Adams, like, that's Adams' last stand.
It's his last stand. He dies
Yeah.
here, I would imagine, yes.
Um,
Because there's too many of them. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? There's definitely
and
too
he's
many
refusing to put his gun down. So, you do drop your weapon,
of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
and you're just running now. So Conrad will talk to Walker over the radio. Walker gets up and throws the radio. No, throws up. I'm sorry.
Over the railing.
Yeah. And then
he ate the radio on accident when he fell. And he barfs it back out.
So I gotta get this evil out of me.
So Conrad says, I'm sorry, Walker, but you knew it would end this way. Your friend's dead, the world on fire, and you alone. You're a failure. You're a failure.
You're a failure.
You're a failure. Finally, something that we have in common. And this brings us to the final chapter, Welcome. So you're at the large building, which I can't remember the name of, but it's a large...
It's the tallest
Trans
building
Emirates? Is
in.
that the
It's
same
the
one?
tallest building in Dubai, which I believe is the tallest building in the world.
Which is not the Burj Khalifa.
It is.
It is?
It's Wiz Khalifa?
Did you watch the rehearsal?
Is that a movie?
Oh, I've been watching it.
watch
It's not.
the- you
It's
know,
not done yet. But
I haven't.
Yeah.
I've only watched the first episode.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But there's the scene where that's one of the trivia questions.
Yes, where they have to. That's fucking. It's so.
Like
Yeah. That
there's a scene where a guy he's trying to subtly give this man some trivia answers. Like
Yeah.
he wants the guy to win the trivia game.
But the guy won't cheat.
So
He
he's like,
refuses to cheat.
How can I orchestrate things to give him the answers ahead of time? And so there's a guy like looking like a contractor, and he's like, pretty tall building, but not the world's tallest building, which is the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. And
He
he's
like inserts actors into this
Okay.
guy's life to like casually just give him factoids.
Okay.
So that he
sometimes directly, sometimes just overheard in
can.
conversation.
Yeah, so that he can like. So
Know
that
them
all of
later.
those things are subconsciously in his head. Like it's a. Nathan Fielder is breaking down what it means to make a television show or movie.
Yeah.
Like he's totally dismantling the concept of how something's made. You know
Similar
what I mean?
to how Spec Ops dismantles, how a
war game
third
would.
person, military shooter is made. So you get into this building, the Burj Khalifa, And you see the Zulu squad, and they're like, Captain Walker, we're all that's left of the damn 33rd. We surrender to you. Dubai is yours.
And he's like, no, there's a bunch of guys still fighting out there.
I don't know about that.
Like, like, shut the fuck up.
And he's like, where's Conrad? And they're like, where he's always been, upstairs, waiting for you. And so Conrad's talking to you as you're like going up to the building. Eventually, you go up and you see him, and he's like painting. And he's painting the scene that you experienced when you white phosphorused all those fucking civilians.
Can I make one tiny comment? Did you guys... So there's 2 pieces of intel you can find in every chapter. There's 2 pieces of intel in his room, too, effectively, at the top, at like the penthouse. One of them's... So there's 2 ways you can go upstairs. One way you go upstairs goes right to him. The other one goes to like the bedroom. One of them's in there. The other one's in like a room.
It's like a bathroom.
A bathroom downstairs as well. But... he'll say a certain amount of things to you, and then he stops. You know what I mean? And he's like, come upstairs when you're ready. If you, like, spend some time walking around, he's like, whenever you're done rifling through my things, you know what I mean? Like, if you're done, you know what I mean, rummaging through all my shit, get up here. I'm not, you know. I thought that was funny.
I like that a lot.
It reminded me of the Max Payne when you're like, is there a time limit? Is there not a time limit? Can I just, hang out here for a while? What if I don't want to attend?
Passive yelling at you to get going.
So you're looking at the painting. He's like, go ahead, take a closer look at it. And then, like, he disappears.
And you say,
and also, it's like, Conrad couldn't have seen this scene. You know what I mean? If, as far as you know, the whole time Conrad's been in this tower waiting for you,
yeah,
you're the only... You, Adams, and Lugo saw this scene of death and destruction.
Right.
You're the only one who saw it from this angle. Because they were fighting with each other behind you, not really looking at it. You... like, burned that image into your retinas.
Perspective, yeah.
Yes.
So, you go like, Conrad, is that you? And, like, out on the balcony, there's a shadowy figure. And you walk up to him.
He's sitting in a chair.
Yeah. You spin the chair around.
he's a dead guy.
It's just a corpse. He's been dead for a long time.
Yeah, like it's not... It's like his skin's still there, but it is like...
He's like drying up.
Hanging. He looks dehydrated. It looks like he's a dehydrated piece of fruit. You know what I mean? Like,
and this is where...
hole in his fucking head.
Yeah,
you know,
he's gone.
Gun in his hand.
They're arguing, like, you now, like, the alive version of Conrad's there, and he's got a gun, and he's talking to you, and he's like, you did this. This is all you. This is all on you. This is your fault. And he's like, no, it's not. Walker's like, I didn't do this. You did. And, he goes, what's going to happen is I'm going to count to 5, and then I'm going to fucking kill you.
And he says, like before we go on, like this is also like the pinnacle of how disgusting Walker looks. It looks like both of his eyes are red.
Yeah,
he looks fucking evil.
Oh, he's
completely gone.
Well,
he's physically, mentally.
He's hemorrhaging. He's like his eyes. All the you can't like be in that kind of smoke and explosion and stuff like that. His eardrums are probably blown.
Yeah,
all the blood vessels in his eyes are popped, and his face.
He lost one of his ears.
Yeah, for almost definitely because it's all fucking the whole side of his face is all burnt.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like he looks like Harvey Dent.
He really
you know
does.
what I mean? Like it is rough, but like
Harvey Dent after the accident.
yeah. No, not politician Harvey.
Right.
Looks like Gustavo Fring, and just this is like this is the best example of like the animation, facial animation, everything is pretty damn good here. I feel like they definitely saved the best for last.
And you're like in a void talking to him. Like, you know, and there's like there's reflections.
You're in like a mirror that's angled like this.
It doesn't make any sense.
You know what I mean? No, not at all.
Just to set the stage
and
for this
he says like it takes a strong man to deny what's in front of him. And you know you have the option now. At this point, this is like the end of the game.
It's really cool where when he says that to you, where he's like, I'm going to count to 5, and then I'm going to kill you. You know what I mean? And he's like, this is your fault. And you go, no, it's your fault. And he says something along the lines of like, well then, if you think it's my fault, kill me then.
And suddenly, a gun appears in your hand. Suddenly, that wasn't there before.
I thought you grabbed it off.
No, you grab it off of Conrad when he's sitting in the chair.
Oh, right. Okay,
Conrad's gun kind of comes out of nowhere. But you're holding his gun at your side the whole time, just like shaking.
So yeah,
he gets to 3 in the countdown. He's like 1. You say more shit to each other too. Then he's like, if you think it's my fault, then kill
I thought
me.
3 is when the gun just appeared, but it is his gun.
He pulls it up, yeah.
Okay.
Also, that back and forth they had initially when he's like, I didn't do this. It's not my fault. I didn't figure this out. But that's the same exact thing that you say earlier in a different conversation with I think with Conrad still.
It is,
but it's a little bit more innocent. Then it's not as large, which is really cool. So
I mean, so Conrad says, like cutscene, he says, this is like during the painting part. He goes, no matter how hard I tried, I could never escape the reality of what happened here. That was my downfall. And like, Walker's like, what the hell's going on? He goes, your eyes are opening for the first time. It hurts, doesn't it? So once you're actually talking to like the sort of like hallucination version, if you've already confronted the corpse, he goes, it seems that reports of my survival have been greatly exaggerated.
Oh, yeah.
Which
Yeah,
means that signal must have been one of those ghost signals they were talking about.
That was just constantly rebounding.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't put that together. Yeah.
So he goes, like, Walker, you're in a flashback. And he's like, we have our orders. Leave the city, radio command from outside the storm wall. They send in the cavalry. We go home. He goes, whoa, what happened here was out of my control. And Conrad says, was it? None of this would have happened if you just stopped, but you marched on. And that's why I think the stop sign is
100%.
the obvious imagery there.
Yeah.
And then it like...
My favorite is it cuts to like a scene of you when you're talking to Conrad over the walkie, and it shows the walkie, and like the back's just ripped off.
Yeah, it never
no
had
batteries in it.
batteries
And it shows like Adams and Lugo behind you like...
Just like looking at each other. Yeah.
Yeah, it shows like the when you're looking at the thief and the soldier, they were both corpses the entire time.
They were both already dead.
It never happened.
Yeah.
Like, it shows all these fucking things that like from the start, for some reason, Walker just like was like, ugh, he did this. We gotta like, he created this boogeyman to not really face the reality of what he had caused.
Yeah.
A big thing too that they say is that I can't confirm it, but a lot of people are saying that whenever the game fades to black, that's just a regular transition. But anytime it fades to white, you're about to experience something that's existing mostly in
Walker's mind.
Walker's mind.
Yeah, totally.
I had a really hard time too. Like, I'm gonna play through it again, and maybe we'll answer a couple of questions when we talk about it at the end. But like, if Conrad was dead the whole time, obviously, if those two corpses hanging from there are just corpses, why were those snipers posted waiting for you? You know what I mean? Like on either side, or were they not real?
I mean, because they're
fight them.
like you're just like same as any other. Like they're just tracking you and trying to take you out.
Fair, yeah.
They had nothing to do with the corpses, Like it's unclear like how long that scenario even lasted in reality. You know, it could have just been an instance in
Right.
his mind that was just a few seconds there, but it shows like this like series of flashbacks all the times that you made these choices where it's like you had no choice. Well, you did this, you chose to do this, you chose to do that.
It shows you shooting Riggs in the fucking head. For me, at least.
Yeah, it'll show you breaking up the tower, or it will show you firing on civilians if you did that. So he again says it takes a strong man to deny what's in front of him. If the truth is undeniable, then you create your own. And then during this first sentence, Walker is alone without the Conrad illusion. Walker's lips move to form the words that Conrad is saying.
Oh, I remember that. That was so
the
cool.
The second sentence flashes back to chapter 9, where the two people are tied to the bridge, the hanging corpses. So he basically counts down. He counts up. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3. At 3, you can pull up your gun. Now, you can wait for the count of 5, at which point he'll kill you, and you die.
There's a cool thing you can notice, though, if you watch that happen. The moment the trigger is pulled, in your reflection, you see you go from this to...
Yeah,
you immediately
teleport.
Right.
Yeah, you fucking put it right up to your face.
Yeah.
Which also, the whole time... Sorry, continue.
No. I mean, so if you chose to let him kill you, which is really you killing yourself...
Yeah.
Over the radio, the messages from the beginning of the game is transmitted. This is Colonel John Conrad, blah, blah, blah. The game just ends on like,
it kind of like fades up and it's like you sitting there dead on the balcony, Conrad sitting in front of you also dead.
Yeah.
And it just kind of pans away. It's like, that's it. It's over.
They're fucking, he's dead.
Sit.
You can shoot your own reflection, which in that case, like...
Same thing happens, right?
Same thing happens pretty much.
Yeah.
In which you commit suicide both in your hallucination and in reality.
In your mind chamber.
Or if you shoot Conrad, he repeats. Well, I guess it does take a strong man to deny what's in front of him.
Does he die? Like, does he fall and like?
No,
die?
he
I don't remember.
because it's a mirror kind of. He shatters and then he crumbles away as glass.
That's right, okay.
But he says to you, he's like, just don't be too hard on yourself, Walker.
That's
right.
Like,
you can still go home. You know what I mean? You can still come. You can still come back.
Well, yeah, because he goes, it takes a strong man to deny what's in front of him, and Walker says, stronger than you were. Mm-hmm. He's like, all right, Walker, but just you can still go home. So
yeah.
So Walker is looking over Dubai, and the Zulu squad says, "What now, sir?" And he's like, "Huh?" He goes, the men are asking, like, "What do we do now?" And he goes, "We complete our mission." Oh, well, yes. He goes, "What mission would that be?" And that's when he says,
"Just give me a goddamn walk."
I think it says radio.
Radio, sorry. And then
He turns around and the one-eyed guy's gone.
he's fucking not even there anymore.
So, and then he radios in, this is Captain Walker requesting immediate evacuation of Dubai survivors.
One too many.
Yes. So
We did that well.
This is where you get the epilogue, where again, it's like there's really only so many endings, but there are 3 paths followed by this path, where there's 3 paths, and then 2 branching paths off of one of those paths.
Yes.
And it's like
So,
pretty crazy.
can I tell you what I did?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, the way I played through the ending, I shot Conrad because I was like, I'm not going to kill myself. You know what I mean?
I
I'm
should
kinda
stay alive.
Well, I'm
after
kind of like, I made it this far. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And in my mind, too, there's a part of me that said, like, if I kill Conrad, it might be that no matter what my option is, I'm killing myself here.
that. Yeah, you don't
I
really
considered
know.
that.
Whether you shot Conrad, whether you shot yourself, whether you let him shoot you.
But
I
shooting
thought-
Conrad really just represents, no, I'm going to stay in my delusion.
Yes, and I'm going to say that I killed the boogeyman, I did it, I won. You know what I mean? Blah, blah, blah. I then go to... So the epilogue is like, you come walking out, you're wearing Conrad's, like, military jacket. Like,
Yep.
his like,
Oh, I didn't.
With,
He
like,
took
all
it
of
off his corpse.
with all of his, like, medals and stuff on it. It says Conrad on it, and you're just, like,
Bugged
you're
out.
1,000
Completely
miles there.
shell-shocked,
You've
yeah.
got the fucking AA-12 at your side.
Which is such a big fucking gun.
And they start yelling at it. They're like, hey, Walker, you know what I mean? Like, drop your gun. If everything's okay, we can still, you can come with it. And then they're like, he's not putting his gun down, shoot him. They're like, he's shell-shocked, give him a minute.
It's like the evacuation team
Yeah.
that's come through.
I opened fire.
You bastard.
The first time, I was like,
sick man.
fuck him. I saw that it gave me the option to press A and drop the gun. I said, nope. I popped the guy right in front of me. I turned, I tried to get a few more of them. I died almost immediately that time.
Yeah, they're very tough.
They're very quick. They immediately throw like 2 grenades at you. I died right away. And then it's you lying on the ground as they like gather around you and stuff like that. And I can't remember exactly what he says. But
He says, remember back in Kabul, John, before things got bad? We were talking. About nothing, really. I said something about going home, and you said, home? We can't go home. There's a line men like us have to cross. If we're lucky, we do what's necessary, and then we die. No, all I really want, Captain, is peace.
Spec Ops, the line.
Yes.
We crossed the line.
He said fucking said it. So then you played it again.
Well,
And-
let's stick
Is
with that for now.
is there-
'cause-
Yes.
Is there more?
'cause
Because after you die?
Well, we'll talk about all the
that's
different
it.
options, but what did you choose to do?
Oh, I let Conrad blast me.
Oh,
And
so
then-
for you it just ended right there.
Yeah, because I like it. Even though the choices that I could make in that, and the choices that you did have, I went with the most.
Took it out of your own hands, kind of.
Like I tried to like save the people. I never shot the civilians. I tried
Yep.
to make all the right decisions. Ultimately, I was just like, "There's no way, Walker. I would want to live."
Oh,
Probably,
yeah, no.
with that, and I thought that I was like, Walker should probably die. He doesn't. He's gonna the rest. He's a danger to himself and everyone around him for the rest of his life.
Right.
And
So-
he's just gonna be permanently disabled by this horrendous mental illness that
Yeah.
he has now.
If you drop your weapon in the epilogue, which I shot Conrad and
then-
went to the epilogue, if you drop your weapon, they take you home.
Is that what you did?
No.
No. Okay.
They go, all right, it's over, time to go home. And they say, Captain, we drove through the whole city trying to find you. We saw things. If you don't mind me asking, what was it like? How did you survive all this? And Walker says, who said I did?
Mm-hmm.
And the screen fades to black.
And it goes,
Which-
enemy!
Yeah.
And, damn it! And so,
Whole fucking game.
you know,
Yeah, it's very much
What
like
I did. I did decide to open fire because this isn't.
What's wrong with you guys?
Because I didn't experience it
What's
the
the
first
deal
time.
with Spec Ops?
I honestly, like, there was part of me where I was like, I was just curious to see what happened because in my mind already, I was like, I'm going back and playing through this again.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, in my mind, I was like,
might as well
as soon
see
as I
this
finish
one.
this, I'm restarting chapter 15. I'm seeing the other. I'm gonna do this 5 times right now.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I did.
All right.
But
So-
there was part of me that was curious that it was gonna be like end of Halo Reach horde mode, where it's just like survive.
God, that shit
You know
was
what I mean?
cool.
Well, it kind of, not entirely, but it kind of is. So you do fight through a lot of. I mean, not a ton, but it's a fair amount of
Like,
like
there's
really
at least
tough
like 30
soldiers.
people probably. I'd say
Like
20,
3 or
30.
4 trucks of guys, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
and it goes on for a while. But then once you kill everybody, you have the live and let die achievement. So after a fight, Walker approaches the soldier who is bleeding internally from being shot by Walker.
The bullet will cause you to bleed internally.
You
Yeah, they'll do that.
you pick up the
grabs Walker.
radio. It's going Falcon 1. Do you copy? And he goes, like, we heard shots. We're wondering what's going on. And Walker goes, gentlemen, welcome to Dubai. And yeah. Like he's just like walking through the burning city by himself.
Bad
around
company.
All these,
I can't deny. It's specifically the 5-finger death punch cover of it playing.
fuck. All right, enough music cue jokes.
Sorry.
I feel like you have like 10 in the last like minute.
They're so funny.
I know. I would laugh more. I literally busted my gut. So there's like an aerial shot where it's just him and all the dead U.S. soldiers that he's murdered, and the city's burning, and it's like
What the fuck?
the cycle continues at that point.
Yeah, because it almost feels like at that point as you walk away, it could then transition back into the very beginning of the game where you're walking in with your squad. And you're like, just quick recon, we got to see what's going on. You know what I mean? Like it seems like it's literally like it could. If you play that ending, it's just an endless loop of violence and war.
What
Is
I
effectively
like
what they're
about-
saying. It's perpetual.
Do we have other endings to cover?
No, that's
No,
it.
but
Okay.
I have a couple end game things I want to talk about.
Okay, I would just say what I like about these different endings is that, like, when you guys talk about like killing the soldiers that were in this circumstance innocent, just trying to actually
Oh yeah, they're
save
actually
you.
there to save you.
Yeah, I'm just like I'm like that wouldn't be what Walker would do. I'm like no, he's trying to be a good guy. He's a good guy, but that's me self-inserting I'm putting myself in his shoes. I wouldn't do that. But I think all of these endings, if you look at it objectively, pretty all plausible. You know what I mean? This isn't one of those ones where it's like, oh, let's have the funny ending where he kills everyone, which is
like,
so
how
out of
broken is
character.
he? You ask yourself.
He
You know
could
what I
be
mean?
broken enough to literally kill all those guys.
just be like,
I think
"Fuck
that
it, I'm-"
all of the
yeah.
endings are
Like what
equally
took over?
applicable.
Was it the regret? Is it the anger? You know what I mean? Like what is it that you know what I mean?
Or
Stayed with
just-
you.
Yeah, he just wants to fight until it's he's committing suicide by somebody else.
He doesn't want to kill himself, but
Yeah.
he doesn't want to. Yeah, he's gonna put up a fight. Baby.
When he does that final call over the radio where he says "Welcome to Dubai," he looks fucking insane.
Yeah.
He looks so crazy. I think is he bandaged? He might not be. He looks slightly better than he did.
He's got a couple bandages on him at that point.
Yeah.
Like, there's one
I mean,
on
you
the
would have
back
had a
of
little
him.
time. It's daytime instead of nighttime at that point. You know.
He's
Yeah.
taken the jack. He's changed his outfit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's taking a dump real quick. Yeah.
I mean, you gotta
Sealed his
shit
head
eventually.
back together.
So, a couple things I want to mention. We discussed that throughout the game, as the character's model changes, so do the dialogues. It goes from like reloading to this thing is slowing me down, or snipe that hostile, to put down that fucking sniper.
Yeah.
Becomes-
Lots more swearing.
More aggressive too, more visceral. It's less like it is very much like at the beginning by the books. By the end, it is just unhinged.
Yeah.
Because what you're saying is like take down the hostile. You know what I mean? Like enemy over here.
Yeah.
All tactical.
Yeah,
things.
the melee and the executions are, punching a downed enemy using your foot to like stomp his neck, basically. You can break the neck with the butt of your gun. You struggle with them, you shoot them, you bash their head.
You put the gun in their
in their
mouth.
mouth and shoot.
don't think I
Sometimes
saw that
the
one.
heads will blow open when you do that and just completely explode.
Wow.
There's also the loading screens become more and more, ominous as we go on. To kill for yourself is murder. To kill for your government is heroic. To kill for entertainment is harmless, as one of them. Cognitive dissonance is an uncomfortable feeling caused by holding two conflicting ideas
Yes.
simultaneously.
That's the one that I saw where I was like, fuck.
Yeah, I got that.
The U.S. military does not condone the killing of unarmed combatants, but this isn't real, so why should you care?
Yeah.
And Yeah, I exist and I find it nauseating is another nice one. So now, something that you mentioned was there is the main menu where it shows the life of an unnamed 33rd Battalion sniper.
That's right, just chilling
And
out.
it shows him like at different angles and different scenes, but at one point in the game, he dies and his corpse is like being eaten by crows.
Yeah.
And then
Because
like,
it goes from like him laying down
Yeah.
to suddenly he's corpse.
Yeah.
he's like chilling sometimes. He's just like he's in various positions, and like the city also like is like crumbling in the background as it goes, but he's eventually just like covered. His corpse is covered by the American flag. You got like the kind of like Star Spangled Banner kind of. It starts out like it's like the Jimi Hendrix version, and then it just turns into just like dissonant noise and feedback.
Yeah, like
It's
clearly
the first
like he
10
starts
notes
it,
are real, but
and then after that it is just kind of like he's fucking it up.
There's a lot of things to say about this game. And one of them being the voice actor Nolan North, I think is his name.
He does like everything at this point. He's
Yeah.
he has like a monopoly on playing white men with beards
Yeah.
in any video game.
But I
Whether it's
guess,
Joel from The Last of Us or fucking.
Oh my
I'm
God,
pretty
was he
sure
Joel?
That, I think I could be wrong about that.
Wow.
Could be wrong about that.
There was I read some quotes from him. Somebody asked him he was asked at a Comic-Con, like what really stands out for you in your career, and what are you most proud of? And he did say that Spec Ops is one of the largest. He's so proud of that game, and he thought it was it was a shame that it didn't get as much of a splash on its release. But he says it's really cool that gamers like us are kind of picking up that torch from just the word of mouth about how good it actually is.
Because it is so good, its merit has allowed it to retroactively. You know what I mean? Get the recognition it deserves.
I can tell you a couple moments from all the Gears games, like the big story beats. But I'm gonna remember most of this game for a long time. There was all these twists. So I think it has a bizarre amount of staying power, even though the actual gameplay doesn't really revolutionize. Just has some highs and lows.
it's just a tight shooter. I don't know.
yeah.
I have no complaint. I think feels great.
It's just a
plays
tight
really
shooter.
well.
I can see why people weren't amazed by it when it released.
Well, also it's impossible to market.
Yeah.
I mean, how would you market this game? I told you guys just it's good, just trust me.
Yeah.
But
Otherwise, you either have to appeal to someone's you either have to appeal to someone and be like, it's so fucking brutal, dude. You're stomping people's heads in and shit. You know what I mean? You either have to appeal to that,
But it even
or you
doesn't,
have to be like,
You
it's
can
an
see-
anti-war war. I don't know.
you can look
Yeah.
back at some of the press materials and stuff from the time. It's there's no way to tell this story without spoiling it. Without drawing allusions to other, the source material of the inspirations and stuff.
Yeah.
Heart of Darkness and shit like that, where it's all right, well, I can kind of see what's going on here, but it's similar to Alan Wake, or it's a psychological horror game. This is a psychological military shooter.
Well, what happens in it? Why is it cool? It's he's he goes into a dark place and he has to use a flashlight.
I can't tell you.
And I don't. I'm playing.
like-
I'm gonna fucking play Call of Duty. Again.
You got to shine a
And it's
flashlight
just
on people.
Yeah, it's
trust me.
It's
Okay,
a
Pajama
very
Sam.
well written and complex story.
Yeah.
Well, is it really? 'Cause,
You're it's another war
You
game.
also think that this fucking thing is good, and you have bad taste.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
You also thought Call of Duty had a great story.
Yeah,
You know,
it's a hard sell, and it sucks.
so.
It's a good game. Fuck you.
I think it really, if
bad
you
game.
think about everything that went on, being there, being so goody and by the books, and we're gonna go in and out. This is the simple mission. Let's just do it. The fact that they got kind of ambushed and were immediately, the three refugees that kind of ambushed them, accused them of being murderers when the second they got there.
Yes.
I think that you can see it in the cutscene that happens there, but Walker's distressed by that. I think that's where he really starts to show his perception of the situation is not what he thought it was going to be. And I think that's what allows him to become undone with the paranoia. I think you're right. The phosphorus thing is what breaks him.
Yeah.
That's where he's but the thing is, that's where he starts. I wouldn't say that's what breaks him. It's more that's where he begins to
hallucinate.
Yes, but
Yeah.
But for what reason? to
cope.
basically cope and just to justify things in his head.
Yeah, I think he was
so-
definitely broken, like we said before he got there. I think that was
Yeah.
that was what disconnected him entirely from reality.
I get that, but what I'm
Yeah.
saying is like, the situation was basically primed from the get-go to like turn on him and make him question his role and everything. And it's like, not only did he get called a murderer
Yeah.
when he got there, he then murdered civilians.
Yeah.
Like, that was the first fucking thing he did when he got there.
And they're kind of questioning they're not just questioning what he's doing here, they're putting into question everything he's done as a soldier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With that statement of, like, you're a murderer. Because, like,
Yeah.
if you have enough trauma from that, you're not just, like, you can't just go, I haven't killed anybody here. I'm not a murderer. You know what I mean?
Right.
You go, I have killed people. Am I a murderer? You know what I mean? I thought I was doing it, whatever. You can
And
spiral.
It's
Yeah.
not that he's like, this like rookie soldier who's like, oh, I can't believe I had to shoot somebody. But it's more like, I just had to like shoot civilians on what I didn't think was going to be a combat mission.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to fuck with someone,
Yeah.
no matter how hardened you are.
Like even when they discover that they torched all those people with the white phosphorus, Lugo says he turned us into killers. And it's like all three of you are
You've
killed.
been murdering people the whole game.
A lot
till
of
now,
people. Yeah. But now he's turned us into killers. It shows how.
It's that disconnect. It's that
Yeah.
it's the ability to dissociate.
But
from
it's
what
also,
it is.
I guess, yeah, you dissociate. But I also get how in that world, it's like if you're on the field, you're fair game.
If
Like,
you're defending, because the idea is if you're defending
holding a
yourself
gun,
or whatever, you know.
Yeah, and so it's like those are like I can see how they can compartmentalize, like even real soldiers in those scenarios.
Yeah.
I'd have to do it as well. So it is a very interesting I think the gamers video was talking about how the developers like jokingly were almost happy that they didn't have to make a sequel because the subject matter was so fucking grim.
Yeah.
That it was imagine having to deal with that
research.
story every day. That's
Well, and you're
dark,
trying to-
dark
yeah.
shit.
My understanding is I think Jaeger's only done one other game since then. It's like
Yeah.
a live
Really?
service game that's
Fuck.
still in development, or it might have been out of early access by now, but like they didn't really get to do anything else.
It was a
which is
bizarre,
crazy.
It was a bizarre story how they came to be the creators of Spec Ops: The Line. And I
Yeah.
don't remember all the ins and outs, but like 2K pretty much like wanted somebody. They were looking for people to. They were looking for
It's
pitches.
just a reboot.
Yeah, and they were like, we have
Reboots
this.
go to small studios all the time. So
We have
they
this-
usually don't work though.
yeah, we have this IP. Please make it good. And they were like, all right.
Yeah, I mean it's not all that different from like how Arcane got the Prey license. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes it happens and it's like for the best. Sometimes it's not. Because I mean this is like not really. It's not a tactical shooter. I mean, it has some of those elements in it, but it's
Yeah.
like the gameplay is much more. I don't know if you guys ever played Rainbow Six back in the day and
Yeah,
shit.
and
Like,
it's
those games
also-
are hard.
It's also
Yeah.
not like a Splinter Cell. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's not. It doesn't really play like any other. I haven't played a lot of like cover war games that are like
Yeah.
modern war games. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? They're always Gears where you're on an
I was
alien
gonna say
planet
it's
in the
only
future.
Gears.
You know?
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think my only qualm with the game, I do think and not that I don't even know if that's really an issue. I would have locked in more emotionally if we had a little bit more building of these characters. I think they all have character arcs, and they're all totally different people by the time the game's done. But yeah, I don't know. I never really felt like I super knew them, but I also feel like if we did somehow get more exposition on like, if we knew these characters more, it'd probably take away from the game. So I
yeah,
get
to
why
me
it's
they're
not
just
there.
archetypes. Like I don't
Yeah.
need a backstory. It's just like he's
Yeah, I
the
don't
good
even know
American
about
soldier.
Lugo's
Like,
family.
that's
But I think it's up to you to self-insert yourself into Walker's shoes.
It's supposed to be a
More
thought-provoking game, I think. So
Yeah.
I think
like I didn't.
yeah.
really,
I mean
it
that's
assumes you're
I
gonna-
don't think.
I didn't really care when Lugo died. I didn't really care when Adams died. Even when like all those when they killed the civilians, like they were clearly fucked up, but they were also like it was just like, okay, we gotta go, And it was it could have had more of an emotional effect, but I do think I don't know how I would do it without it detracting in some other way, like flashbacks to like Walker's childhood.
I don't think it's
Like,
necessary
what the
because
fuck?
it's supposed to be. It is supposed to be an empty sort of archetype. I mean, this is my opinion, but
Yeah.
it's an empty archetype, and you, the player, are supposed to fill it because the game is also a meta narrative about player choice and like making entertainment out of things like war.
Yeah.
killing. Yeah,
And it's like it's I think that if they humanized him too much and had too much backstory, it wouldn't be as much of a statement about our own culpability in supporting these sorts of things.
Yeah,
Both in media and in real life. You know?
How we've kind of gamified like literal war.
I think that even the fact that like you're saying like you're a little like detached from their deaths, like I think says, you know, for better or for worse, I think that is something the game is doing that. Like it's you're able to experience these horrific things, which you probably should be affected by it.
Or at the very least,
just by
it's
seeing
part of
it,
the point that they're trying to make.
Yeah.
Is that like we're desensitized as a culture? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As a people.
And it's so effective in that I don't know if your family member dies, it's like months of dealing with it. Whereas they were like, Lugo's dead, we gotta go.
Yeah.
All these civilians are dead, we gotta go.
You know, since we're putting these videos together, you know, kind of consecutively, I want to ask, isn't this, not even ask, I just want to make a statement. Really crazy how this contrasts to a game like Call of Duty.
That's what
came out, you know, about 10 years or so, if not a few more years prior.
Yeah.
I think Call of Duty was 2003.
I believe so.
I don't remember the date.
I'm almost positive it was. And so, you know, this is just about 10 years later. What a drastic shift. And you know what I mean?
The juxtaposition between us going from Call of Duty to this
And
is stark.
Even like outside of the Call of Duty games we've played, as somebody who played those games around 2012, you know what I mean, who was playing Modern Warfare 2, who played Black Ops, just seeing like the juxtaposition between those two titles is incredible. Like Modern Warfare 2 opens up with a similar scene to after, like Modern Warfare 2 opens up with no Russian. It's an infamous scene. A lot of people
that's the opening?
That is the opening of that game. It is within the first 3 missions. If it's not your first mission, it's one of the first few missions. I believe it's your first mission though.
No way.
Because it establishes it establishes the story of that game.
Right. Yeah.
Because you're an undercover operative who's there with them. You're not actually a Russian guy, you know what I mean? You're with the CIA or whatever.
I see.
You murder all those civilians, but it takes it very casually.
You have the choice to, right? You don't have to shoot.
You don't have to shoot the whole time, but you're going to watch all of them. But you're going to watch all of them die anyways.
Yeah.
The guys with you are going to murder either way.
Right,
either way, you're there and you're part of it. And the way they kind of like, there wasn't really any heaviness to that. You know what I mean? As somebody who played it,
I remember that being a criticism.
Admittedly, I was 15, but there really genuinely was like no heaviness to it. Even looking back on it now,
Was it more shock value was the goal?
it really felt like it was more shock value to be like, whoa, look at all this. This wasn't that crazy.
I remember.
I mean, I feel like it could be argued they were maybe attempting something deeper, but
They could have, but they didn't do a good job of it. Whereas me not killing the civilians in the scene after Lugo died in this game had more of an impact on me.
Yeah.
Making the decision to realizing that I could have not known, I could have made the decision to not kill them, and that I might have just opened fire on them, affected me more than that whole game, than the entirety of Modern Warfare 2. You know what I mean? And that was really their attempt. That game was their attempt to do something like Spec Ops, because they try to do stuff later in the game where it turns out like the people you've been taking orders from aren't the good guys. You know what I mean? And like they kill one of the people you've been with the whole time. They try to kill you, and like you have to then do the thing that Walker's kind of doing.
But that game really put, you know, at least in the marketing and you know, some of that's controlled, some of that's not. You can't always control how the press is going to react to your game, but the shock of that scene was front and center, you know, and when anybody was talking about that game. Whereas like, you know, and the game it relied very heavily on that. I know people talked about the white phosphorus scene a lot in Spec Ops when it's come up. It's like I even before I really knew about the game, like heard there's like that, you know, this shocking scene. But I do feel like Spec Ops really does attempt to go deeper, and it's not just shock value. It's attempting a really deep story, which kind of seems like it is setting it up for cult classic status at best.
Yeah.
Because people don't. It's not fun for everyone to deal with
trauma.
to experience trauma, but also I mean to deal with the deeper psychological issues. Like you don't really want to think about it that deeply sometimes.
No,
for a lot of it makes you confront the reality of the situation on several different levels.
Whether you're even just like realizing in the game that like how far removed, like you can make a decision in the game and it's so removed from real life that you don't even think about the implications a real life decision like that would make. To even if it makes you kind of be like, this stuff, maybe not this exactly, but this stuff has happened.
Yeah.
in our world, in our reality. You know what I mean? It could be happening for right now. There could be someone going through similar things to this somewhere. You know what I mean? And it makes you... And some people just want to play a video game. Some people just want to fucking turn off their brain and play it. And not even. Some people just want to play Stray. Some people just want to... You know what I mean? Some people just want to... Yeah. Some people just want to play fucking Animal Crossing. You know what I mean? Not everybody wants, like you said, those deeper questions being put to them.
Especially in an action game where you're usually going for... I want thrills.
Yeah, and the whole idea is just like, I'm the good guy killing the bad guys. I don't have to ever worry about what I'm doing because I'm just good guy killing bad guy.
Like, even like when you're talking about like when you murdered that innocent woman in real life.
When you killed the president of the United States.
You sick bastard. That's a thing that happens. And I'm sure there's, maybe not millions, but there's like so many people that have done that because they were in a war zone. Somebody started running at them, and your instincts tell you kill to survive. You know what I mean? And then they have to deal with that.
There's split-second reactions that are literally life or death.
Yeah.
Whether they're yours or someone else's.
And it's a powerful thing, too, because there's lots of games you can shoot NPCs, and you don't think twice about it ever.
Exactly, yeah. 100%.
I think the philosophical core, the differences between those in Call of Duty and Spec Ops is that in Call of Duty, it's like, yes, this is bad and this is awful, and you're going to have PTSD, and we shouldn't have to fight war, but by Jove, you got to do what you got to do to save the country, God damn it.
Yeah, but
there's honor.
That first half isn't really even covered that much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That first half of like, these are the realities of war, it really does. I mean, like, this is coming from somebody who is like, you've played just Call of Duty 1, right?
Yeah.
You've also just played Call of Duty 1.
Just very shallow.
Right.
I'm like, I've played through the stories of Modern Warfare 2.
I mean, they're propaganda.
It is. It's all it is. It effectively it feels like an advertisement for the army.
Yeah.
It feels like Call of Duty was like ultimately a way for them to be like, join the fight.
I'm sure, yeah.
Because we need you. Look, that was easy, right? You can do this. You're a hero.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then that's... I mean,
the Army's even tried very hard to use those sorts of things as recruitment tools and training tools. You know, it's been a thing they talked about for a very long time.
They have literal U.S. Army video games.
Like literally modern warfare where you're like fighting wars that are just a little bit different than the ones that were happening in real life, but maybe not that much different.
Some of them aren't at all. Some of them are just what's going on.
Whereas Spec Ops is just like no, all of this is bad.
Yeah.
And like no one is clean. There's no good reason to do any of this. There's no like good guys or bad guys.
It even kind of tries to give you the civilians are innocent, but then by the end be like, no, we're all capable of evil.
Yeah.
The civilians hung Lugo, who like ultimately Lugo didn't want to do any of this. Lugo didn't fire the white
he
phosphorus.
He wasn't who they thought he was.
You know what I mean? Yeah. All that stuff. And like what, you know.
He set up the mortar. So that's
right.
debatable.
Yeah, he's culpable. He's culpable.
Yeah.
You know, because he could have just shot Walker in the face and killed Adams, then left.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if he was like, I don't want this to happen, any one of them could have killed the other two and left.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And probably had not immunity, but
you could have just been like,
if you were able to get them to believe you. Mm-hmm. And like corroborating what you said that damn, am I gonna lose it again? Keep losing my shit. Those people killing Lugo, like they were killing him for an assumption as to what else he's done. They had no idea what he was actually. It was
100% like mob mentality. You know what I mean? Like it was clearly like not as though it wasn't the anger isn't justified or whatever, but like should this be the recipient of your anger?
Yeah.
Will you feel better as a result of this? Is this the thing that you do to make good on all of this?
Does
you know what I mean?
Revenge exist?
Yeah, revenge exists, but like is it catharsis?
Yeah.
Is revenge? You know what I mean? Yeah.
I want to mention one last thing as we wrap this up.
Mm-hmm.
I just saw this when I was reading in the wiki earlier. I didn't mention it, but on the White Phosphorus chapter, which I believe is chapter 8, there's a quote here in the wiki. This chapter is among one of the more, if not the most, traumatic chapters in the game. It is quite possible for the player to get some kind of PTSD from this chapter, which I just think is an absurd way to...
Do they mean the player character or the us?
You.
Like you
Andrew Taylor.
Oh, okay.
It's like, I don't know, maybe, I guess.
I mean,
don't think I would actually develop PTSD from that scene. I would be struck by it. Sure, I was.
I mean, like
I won't forget the sequence.
I guess it had to be a huge wiener for that to like grab me.
Because I'm like, especially in our generation.
Not that I don't have humanity. It's just like
No,
also
but,
it's like I get it. It's fucked up. It's making a statement. It's shocking, but it's not gonna.
It might stick with me, but I don't think it's gonna give me trauma.
Good. Well, hopefully you didn't get trauma from watching this two-parter episode of I've played Spec Ops: The Line. Of course, if you want more, subscribe to the channel. We have plenty more things like this. We're doing a bunch of military games this month. A lot of shooters, a lot of killing people, a lot of defending our country or defending the countries that the player characters themselves find them in. It's not always the U.S. fighting on U.S. soil, or, well, it rarely ever is. But you know what I'm trying to say. Fighting for U.S. soil, I should say.
Yes.
But it is all pretty much, war for resources. Corporations pulling the strings,
100%.
unfortunately. Anyway. Bye.
Peace.
Peace and love.
Only
Peace and love.
Only 2 episodes this time.
Yeah.